we're going to get to here in just a minute. After a wonderful weekend of week 2 college football, which we're going to get to here in just a minute. After a wonderful weekend of just living life, we're back in the saddle to do it all over again, directly across the glass from me, metaphorically and literally, the great one, the pinnacle of professionalism, Lonzo Colonel Grudge is in the house. What up, Zoe? Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. So awesome to be back on the most interactive, the most listened to, the show that people love to watch because we're on ESPN Upstate, and the number one sports show in the state of South Carolina, the Rob Brown Show.
Oh, man, what a day. Absolutely. It's so good to be back. For the 3 of you that have asked so far, I'm not going to hype on this, right? Because let's be honest, I'm not going to bring it up every day for the next 2 months until hopefully, fingers crossed, it goes away. But no, I still can't feel the left side of my face. I don't think I sound all that funny, to be honest. I went back and listened to some of Sunday's show. There's a couple of things. The word springs is kind of hard for me right now. Boiling spring, because
you know what you need to take advantage of? You've got a good shot of winning the slap off right now.
True.
You can't feel it.
No.
I mean,
right hands only.
You can look at, hey man, is that all you got?
Right hands only. Yeah. I was doing the Carolina kickoff show, which is going to happen every game day, 2 hours before Panthers kickoff. I was doing the Carolina kickoff show on Sunday. And for those of you that missed the show on Friday, I've been diagnosed with Bell's palsy on the left side of my face. So the left side of my face is numb and like half of my mouth works. And I think I think it sounds okay. But we start the show and I'm like, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. We are live at Wings, etc. And that's when I got confident, Lonzo. You know, like 2 sentences into the show, I'm feeling myself. I'm like, all right. You know, I'm following the Jim Ross model here. I'm going to be just fine. And then it's time to say Wings, etc. and the location. And I'm like, we are live at Wings, etc. in Boiling Springs. Boiling Spring. I can't say SP. Boiling I can't do it. Springs.
Just say it really fast.
Boiling Springs.
There. No, just say it really quick.
Also, you'll appreciate this, although Alonzo, my dear mother did not. I sent her and my brother yesterday a picture of my Halloween costume for the year.
Yeah.
She did not appreciate it. I'm gonna go as Two-Face.
I can get you some makeup.
Oh man! All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got a weird day. Texter says, "How'd this happen? How'd what happen? The fact that I can't feel my face? I was listening to that song from The Weeknd. I can't feel my face when
I'm with you.
Yeah, listen to Zoe. Listen to Zoe dropping the Gen X music on us.
I have children are just a little bit younger than you.
That's true. Yeah. Nobody knows. Nobody knows how and why this happened. Nobody knows how this happened. I woke up Friday and I felt like this. Sorry, I woke up Friday, Lonzo, and I didn't feel like this. Yes, I make jokes about it. Deal with it. All right, let's do this. Let's do this.
Let's do lunch.
This is a very nutritious lunch. All the food groups are represented.
You guys hear?
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here? Lunch! Lunch!
The lunch breakdown, the things, no specific number on a Monday that you have to know before you go start talking sports. Sports. Uh-oh.
You're just drawing attention to it. Anything that you're
Sports.
concerned about, just say it fast and you're fine.
And again, everything in the world of sports that you need to know about. Sports.
You said it.
My mouth shut. Sports. It comes out fine. You imagine Sunday if people walk into the restaurant while I'm doing the Carolina kickoff show and I'm sitting at the table talking like this? It actually sounds perfectly. Item number 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. It is just football results. On Monday, Zoe, it was ugly. There were turnovers. There were penalties. There was a deep hole that had to be dug out of. But at the end of the day, the South Carolina Gamecocks knock off the Pirates of ECU on the road in that other Greenville. This one up in the NC. South Carolina rides the arm of Zed Nolan, 13 of 24, 214 through the air, a touch and a pick to go along with it to a W. But the name of the game, Juju SC McDowell, 11 totes, 71 yards, and the dude was a monster on the day in high-pressure situations. 5 snags, 116 yards for Josh Vann, including a 45-yarder. Jaheim Bell, 1 catch for 48 yards on the day as well. De'Carrion Joyner had 5 snags for 38 yards on the defensive side of the football. The Gamecocks came up with 1 defensive touchdown as well as a couple of kicks to get the dub. Lonzo, we talked a little bit last week about South Carolina. We talked a little bit about what we expected to see in week number 1 in their opening game. We looked to talk about what they were going to transition in week number 2. Week number 1 was not perfect. There were penalties. There were mistakes. But it's week number 1 under a new head coach. You give a little bit of leeway. That was against an FCS school. They step up the level of competition a little bit. We're not talking quite middle tier SEC, but ECU, a step up from where they were last week against Eastern Illinois. The problem I have here is, though, it's a good win. It's a gut out win, right? Yeah, and you gotta have gut out wins sometimes. It's a gut out win for the Gamecocks, but all the things that they needed to clean up from last week, the penalties, the turnovers, the mistakes, etc., they were still there. Those didn't get cleaned up. They gutted it out and they won. And you're trying to pick the good and the bad out here, Zoe. The problem is the bad. The good's the win. The good's the gut out. They could have easily let off the gas late in that game and just said, we can't finish it. But they went out and finished it. Problem is the hole they were in, the wounds they had, Lonzo, were self-inflicted. ECU played hard, but Carolina just kept shooting themselves in the foot with penalties and mistakes.
Maybe this question was answered and I dismissed it somehow. Where's Luke Doty?
Luke Doty, the belief right now is that foot was not 100%. It was like 95%. The belief he was going to play. He was out there. He was warming up. And then Zeb Nolan came out, which was a surprise to everybody, myself included. The belief, and we're going to talk to Corey Diaz of the Greenville News, and we'll ask him coming at 1 o'clock. But the belief is that once Luke Doty got out there and started jumping around on the foot, there was a little bit of soreness, and you don't want to risk it with Georgia.
Well, and so I don't want to put all the blame on Zeb Nolan, but he looked exactly like what he is, a guy who just came off the bench as a coach, a guy who was second team in a lower tier. He wasn't horrible, but he's not what you expect a quarterback to be in the SEC, and a decent SEC quarterback would have looked better in that game. And I hate being overly critical, but it's the whole thing is okay. How bad does Luke Doty have to be injury-wise to not be out there right now? Because I think he would have made the Gamecocks look a lot better. And now what do? Because do you bring Luke Doty back for Georgia? No, you don't bring him back for Georgia, do you?
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
Do you
Yes. Listen, I love Zeb Nolan. I love the Zeb Nolan story. All right.
Yeah, it's a great story.
It's a great story. I saw a very, very average quarterback Saturday. Zeb was consistent, but I saw a very average. I saw a quarterback that's not getting it done against Georgia. All right. That quarterback's not getting it done. I'm not saying Luke Doty will. I'm saying I know Zeb Nolan won't. You got to make the switch.
Yeah, Georgia's defense is a little bit better than ECU.
A little bit.
Just a little bit.
Little bit. Texture says, damn, Rob, kind of important to be able to say SP when in a radio station literally called ESP and upstate. Hope you are right. If I do the S and the P differently, I'm fine. SP. I can do that. I can't do four. I can't put them together.
How's your Southern accent?
I don't know, man. I ain't tried it out yet. I'm sound like Boomhauer, I think, a little bit, though, if I keep doing daggone ESPN. You know what I mean? It's a Boomhauer.
It works, though. It absolutely works.
How about them Gamecocks going on the road down up there to Greendale, North Carolina, take on Empire, daggone ECU, and get that win. It's ugly. I tell you what, turnovers, penalties, but they went up there, they daggone got it done. I tell you what, how about them Gamecocks? South Carolina, hell yeah. Texas says ESPN Beamer is SAWFT. Soft. Why is he keeping Harris and Lloyd on the bench? The two best offensive weapons on the team. Kevin Harris, 7 carries, 33 yards. Marshawn Lloyd, 7 carries, 21 yards. Marshawn looked better in the last game, but dude, when you get me 3 a carry and I got Juju McDowell averaging 6.5, I mean, I don't know the horse that's faster is the one you ride.
Yeah, you're gonna go with the hot hand, and if the other guys need more carries to get warm, and the guy who's in there now is tearing it up, you're gonna leave him. Why would you take him out? That doesn't make any sense.
Juju 11 touches, 71 yards, 6.5 per carry. Kevin Harris 7 carries for 33 yards, and by the way, one of those carries for Kevin Harris of his 33 yards, 13 yards came on 1 carry. So do the math for what was left for the other 6, right? 4.7 yards per carry for Harris, 3 for Lloyd. So, yeah, that's not a shock there. All right, we're going to come back to South Carolina in just a little while. But before we do, let's get to that other team from South Carolina, your Clemson Tigers getting a win over SC State this weekend. And they're back on track, man. Back on track. It's a route. Yeah, I mean, it's a route. It is what it is. I got to tell you, Lonzo, as I was perusing the message boards late on Saturday evening and taking in some of the way too early reactions from college football fans, one that I saw popping up just about everywhere, the Clemson fans seem to kind of be falling out of love with DJ Uiagalelei really quickly. Did you get that impression?
Well, I don't go on those message boards. I definitely won't go on the Clemson message board. I recorded the game. I didn't even bother watching it because I saw who they played and like, nah, he's back on track, I'm sure. So did he have a bad game? Because it looks like they won.
14 of 24, 171 yards. Touchdown, interception. Pretty average stat line against SC State. No disrespect to the Bulldogs. He did not look great. I'll tell you the one thing he really did well. He did really well, Lonzo, reading the option. First 3 touchdowns of the day for the Clemson Tigers, all on options inside the 5-yard line. All on QB/RB options inside the 5-yard line. Read the option exceptionally well.
See, this is a problem when you are a team that's blessed having one phenom after another. When you get Deshaun Watson and then you get Trevor Lawrence, wow, did you see him in the game yesterday? Well, anyway, so if you get those 2 guys, then you expect everyone to be like that. And DJ is a freshman playing like a freshman.
Yeah,
he's going to get better.
I would like to say that. And I would like to say, but here's the thing. Clemson does not have any more wiggle room. Now, the good news for them is, and I think the college football scoreboard this weekend, looking at you, NC State, proved it. I think we can go on the record, looking at you, Florida State, and say now that the ACC, Lonzo, it's pretty bad at football. It's a pretty bad conference.
Wow. What,
I know.
It's a sudden realization and epiphany, a painful epiphany.
I'm really hanging on to this very thin branch that I'm swinging on out here. All right. I know. And I got to tell you, Lonzo, I don't think there's many radio show hosts in South Carolina that are going to be brave enough to say what I just said, that the ACC sucks at football. All right. Not a lot of hosts going to be brave enough to say that. But the ACC sucks.
That's why this is the number one show in South Carolina, because we make bold statements like that.
I realize I can't look at myself on the stream when I laugh because it's just a struggle.
I just see Sammy Davis Jr. I see a depiction. I see a Saturday Night depiction of.
Does that make you?
It's over exaggerated.
Does that make you Dino? That makes you Dean Martin, right?
I wish, but without the alcohol.
That's not Dean Martin. That's not Dean Martin. Yeah. So the ACC sucks at football, and that's good news for Clemson, because if they had another top 10 opponent standing between them and the playoffs, the way DJ's playing right now, I got question marks. I really do. Clemson fans, what's your thoughts on DJ Uiagalelei? Because I got to tell you, Texter says ESPN, he may need more time, but when you have people at practice saying he makes Trevor Lawrence look pedestrian, the expectation was pretty high. I thought that was ridiculous when I heard it. You know who else thought that sounded ridiculous? And I'll give him credit for this. DJ Uiagalelei. All right?
Yeah, I don't believe he believes that.
I don't think he does either. Except for, I got to tell you, Alonzo, we talked to DJ Uiagalelei at ACC kickoff in Charlotte. And I like the kid. He was very polite. He walked up and introduced himself to me. Super good dude. But I got to wonder if maybe, because, we talked about Lonzo Ball a lot, right? And the Ball brothers. And we talked, what's Daddy Ball's name? I totally forgot. I bleached his name from my head. Anyway, we talked about, is it Lamar? Lamar Ball? Is that right?
It's hard to believe that I don't remember.
I think it's Lamar.
As much as he was in the in the limelight for a long time.
Yeah, I think it's Lamar. One of the things that I had against LaMelo Ball and Lonzo Ball.
It's LeVar.
LeVar Ball. That's right. Appreciate the save. LeVar Ball. One of the problems I had against the Ball brothers when they got into the league was Daddy Ball had built them up into believing that they are NBA legends, right? And you saw that out of Lonzo in Los Angeles. Dude's like, yeah, I'll be on the same level as LeBron. Stop, dog. No. LaMelo, same way. And LaMelo's playing well, but they all thought they were God's gift to the NBA when they got there. And I blame that on LeVar. I got to tell you, I was unaware of I don't say this because I do not mean this as disrespectful, but I stumbled across DJ Uiagalelei's dad on Twitter, Big Dave, who seems like a great guy, right? But then I looked at all the hype that he builds for the hashtag Big Dave Blueprint, and I wonder if there's not a little bit of that in DJ, a little bit of that ball blood in DJ. Because I saw the Big Dave Blueprint and the way that he hypes his kids up on Twitter. And look, proud dad going proud dad. I ain't mad about that. If your kid's a baller, kid's a baller.
Because I don't have a problem with that, whether they are or not. If you're proud of your kids, you're proud of your kids, and you're going to build them up.
Hell yeah. I got no issue with that. But there's a spot where you start to convince your kid that there's the line of you're a good player to you are God's gift to Clemson. And I don't wonder if maybe there's a little bit of tipping over into that range from the Big Dave Blueprint. Because I got to tell you, DJ looks to me like a dude that thought it was just going to be, I'm the starting quarterback and this is going to be easy, and it ain't easy yet. At least it don't look like it's easy. But he doesn't get all the blame. There's one other place I put blame, and I got a text message that just came in that agrees with me on what I already had written down to say. Tell you what that is when we come back. My name is Rob Brown, the great one, Lonzo at the helm. You're listening to ESPN Upstate. Our friends at QC Kinetics want you to be able to live your life and live your life pain-free. Not have to worry about the fear of getting out of bed the morning after you're rolling around on the floor with the grandkids, after you play 36 in a day. They don't want you to have to deal with that. They don't want that fear of pain to take away from your enjoyment of life. And that's why they offer non-surgical regenerative therapies to help you get rid of that pain, to go back to feeling your best, and to do so without having to get sliced, diced, and cut. It's non-surgical. You go in, you meet Dr. Richard Schaefer, MD, who runs the program. You talk with him about the science behind the therapy. You get the shot. It's an inpatient style. So you go in, you get the therapy, bang, you're in, out, you're back to your normal day-to-day life, and you are healing and getting rid of that pain and the fear of it. Go to QCkinetics.com to learn more. You can read all about the science. You get yourself scheduled at QCKINETIX.com or give them a buzz at 864-447-3778, 864-447-3778. Mention the Rob Brown Show. Get that first consultation for free. It's our friends at QC Kinetics.
So engineering is building me a dedicated computer for StreamYard.
Oh, cool.
In there. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Which is, they redid these so they would work. And so they're getting me one, which means also less to carry on Saturday.
Yeah.
And
that is awesome.
Quicker cleanup too. I like that.
Let's see. Josh says, afternoon, boys. How about them dogs can literally any QB behind. All right, Josh, look, you're dangerously close to entering arrogance territory. You played the University of Alabama, Birmingham, buddy, right? Like you didn't run that out there. Run that out there against Auburn and make it look easy. Then holler at me, all right? Run that out there against Ohio State.
Yeah, don't put Ohio State in the conversation.
Run that out there.
There you go. Yeah, that's fine. Do it against Oregon.
Yeah, you're getting dangerously close to arrogant territory. Look, I'm a big Stetson Bennett the fourth fan, man. Give me the 5'3" kid who's trying to make a name for himself. I'm a big fan, but like, careful. John Bryson says DJ is the next Kelly Bryant. Wow.
I am nowhere near a Clemson apologist. Nowhere near, but give the kid a chance. I mean, come on.
He says Fomachan doesn't have the X factor either. Hot take. Jonathan with the Hot Take Express rolling through the station. ETA 12:28 p.m.
Hey, it's got to be difficult on a team to have a certain caliber of athlete in a position, one after the other, and then you get the next guy. And it doesn't mean that he can't achieve what they achieved. He's just not hitting it on the same level as fast as they did.
You're not wrong.
They seem to have a pretty good eye for it. So
Kobe.
a live-action She-Ra series is in development at Amazon. I would say don't tell somebody else, but, I wouldn't want that, taken a certain way. So you should not tell me stuff like that.
I really shouldn't.
You shouldn't.
I should have just never.
Because it's a challenge. I'll just be more clever. I can do that.
Rob Brown Show back on your radio. It's ESPN Upstate. So, talking DJ Uiagalelei. Again, stellar dude. Loved the opportunity to interview him at ECC Media Days. Very polite young man, came up, introduced himself to me. And this is one of those times, though, that this job is difficult because, like any relationship, finding the ability to criticize someone without it coming across as personal can be very difficult to do. And this is not a criticism of DJ Uiagalelei as a person. I met the kid, super nice guy, enjoyed my time with him. He is welcome on this show to talk football anytime. But I do have to criticize the kid on the field because I'm not impressed. All right? I'm not impressed. And it's fair to ask the questions, though. Are we unimpressed because of the fact that there were so many people saying that he was going to be the next Trevor Lawrence, that our expectations were? So we talked about Marvel.
Are you believing the hype? And that's the reason why you're disappointed.
No. I don't. You're not going to convince me after what TL16 lost his first regular season football game this weekend in what? 14 years?
Like since high school, yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't come along.
That's
not once in a blue moon, son. That's once in a blue moon of blue moons. All right? So no, I did not believe that DJ was going to come in and be TL16 volume 2.0. But
did you believe that he would come in and win all of the games that he's supposed to win?
Yes. Yes, I believed he was going to be very good.
And the Georgia game was a coin toss for a lot of people.
I'm not even mad about the L in the Georgia game. There were some spots that he could have played better. I was listening to Dabo's press conference on Sunday, and Dabo said DJ was beating the hell out of himself all week long because of that game, because he left some points on the board. And cool, that's a leader. I respect that. It's not a shot at DJ's leadership.
As long as you don't let it affect the next game that you're playing.
That's not a shot at DJ's leadership. It's a shot at DJ on the field, leaving points up, which happens. But from what Dabo said, this is Mr. Robert in the room, y'all.
It's like a referee. You're supposed to ignore them.
Ignore them, yeah. Just keep fighting, keep competing. Here was my question. I got some takes on the text line, 71307, the Ingles Market text line. Give me your take. Tag it with ESPN so we can read it on the air. 71307 is that number. And I got a couple in our stream chat as well. Join us on the stream chat, facebook.com/ESPN Upstate. twitter.com/ESPN Upstate, or search The Rob Brown Show on YouTube. So I went through and I found a couple of days ago the Big Dave Uyunglele Twitter page. And I looked through it. And again, this is not a personal attack, because I don't know Big Dave, and I know he was on Offsides with Mark Ryan. Tremendous interview. From what I understand, he's a good dude. But I went through and I looked, and his Twitter bio is, I created my kid's brand by using the hashtag Big Dave's Blueprint formula, end quote. Lonzo, does that not just drip with LeVar Ball right there? Like, doesn't that feel very LeVar Ball-y? If I told you that LeVar Ball's Twitter profile,
you know what that sounds like to me, and I get what you're saying, but to me it sounds like a 21st century dad. That's what it sounds like. Someone who understands the advantages of social media and is taking those advantages.
I mean, yeah, but I don't know. Maybe this is
if you DJ Uyunglele, would you do anything differently?
The thing. There are so many kids. All right, there are a lot of kids on the level of DJ Uyunglele, but I know Big Dave's name. Maybe it's just because I'm here. Maybe it's just because I'm near Clemson, right? Let me ask you about. Let me think of another quarterback. I'm trying to think of a quarterback who's like kind of on that level. Hey, what's CJ Stroud's dad's name, Lonzo?
I don't know.
Thank you. My point's made. What's the
CJ Stroud didn't come in with the kind of hype that DJ did, though.
Okay. What's the Indiana's quarterback? Michael Penix Jr. What's his name? What's his dad's name?
Michael Penix Sr.
It's Penix, right?
Penix, whatever. It's senior, because you said he was a junior, so I would guess it was. I would guess it's a senior. Hey, that's on you.
That is on me. Yes, that is correct. Point is, I don't know those cats' names, and maybe I wouldn't know Big Dave if I didn't go searching for it. But it just feels like when you have stuff like this, it makes me think that there's the potential that DJ showed up on campus believing his own hype, right? And believing that he is and again, I don't know that that's true or not. And maybe one day I'll get the chance to ask him one day. Like, tell me about the attitude, the confidence. Are you overconfident in yourself? I don't know. But what I do know, Texture just said, what's Trevor Lawrence's dad's name? Fair.
Joe.
Jeremy, by the way. And that's a Google search.
That was close.
But yeah, I guess that's exactly my point, right? All right. Let's talk about those two cats. Trevor Lawrence shows up, expected to be the golden child. And I would say that Trevor lived up to the hype at Clemson, yeah? I would say so. You would have liked to see another trophy out of him, but hey, you can't complain about being in the dance that many times. Did you ever, Lonzo, in Trevor's entire time, and you're not even a Clemson dude? Did you
not even close? Don't even imply. Don't do that.
Did you ever get the impression, Lonzo, that Trevor Lawrence believed his own press clippings? That Trevor Lawrence had a big head?
He does have confidence, but not confidence in the way that, comes with
a big
attitude.
Dave.
Yeah.
With a Big Dave. All right. With all due respect to Big Dave. And my phone line's open, Big Dave. You already got it. 844-GSP-ESPN. Sorry, I sound funny.
You sound slightly inebriated, but
I'm not. This is energy drink, I promise. You watch me pour it.
Yeah, we're changing the name. This is a drunk Rob Brown show.
I could listen, guys. It's Tommy on the Facebook chat just said, Big Dave feels like a dad who is trying to make himself famous money off his child's hype. Another texter just wrote in and said, sounds like Big Dave wants the attention and to be a reality star. I get a LeVar Ball feel from that situation, and I feel like DJ maybe has the Ball kid mentality. They have been told and this is not on him, by the way. If it's true, it's not on him. I'll tell you this. When we interviewed DJ for ACC Media Days, I know it's not the biggest deal in the world, and maybe this is going to make me sound very get off my lawn, but something really bugged me. When we met James Skalski, dude was in a nice tailored suit, looked good. When we met Bachford, nice tailored suit, looked good. Dabo had the Clemson lapel on. DJ walked up with a chain, Lonzo, with Super Cinco on it. Just a big chain on the front. Very, I've already made it in the NFL caliber feel. That's not the end of the world.
Was that with Bojangles money? I'm just curious.
That's Dr. Pepper money.
Oh,
that's Dr. Pepper
I thought
money.
he selling Bojangles too.
He did. But that's Dr. Pepper money. All right.
Yeah, Dr. Pepper money, probably a little bit more than
money.
Yeah.
Point is, it just felt very, this is about me. Right? He didn't have a big tiger paw on it. It just had Super Cinco. It felt very about me. And I wonder if he didn't roll up onto campus with that attitude of this is about me, and it's hurting him now.
Well, I mean, there have been players before, like Primetime. It was all about him.
Yeah, but Primetime was doing it.
I get it.
Right? I guess that's my thing. Lonzo, I don't dislike players who have the about me attitude when they earn it. And also the understanding that if you have that attitude and you screw up and don't play well, they come for you first, Dion.
I think people would get the impression if they're just tuning in that he's lost 2 games and he looks horrible, because that's how this is coming across, and it's not true.
No, he lost 1 game and he played very average against a not great second game. Not great second team in SC Upstate. Or sorry, South Carolina State.
And I think quarterbacks get way too much blame sometimes.
I agree with you, but I'm going to throw up some of the highlights. In fact, in one of the breaks, we'll go watch some of the highlights. And I want you to honestly watch DJ Uiagalelei and tell me that this is the guy that we had promoted to us during the offseason, because it's not. Quick break. Clemson fans, I got some of your texts. I'll read them when we come back on The Rob Brown Show, and this is ESPN Upstate.
Just want to go on record saying how uncomfortable I am being a Clemson defender today. I'm not going to say I feel dirty, but I feel slightly off.
Yeah.
Having to do that, but, you know.
How about them Arkansas Raisins? Welcome to the SEC, huh, Texas? I think Texas might be I wonder if Texas is going to call the Big 12 and with like a never mind phone call, you know? Hey guys, we
hey baby, you know, I was wrong. I'm a jerk. You know, please just give me another chance. You know, for the first time in a long time, I watched wall-to-wall football yesterday.
Wasn't it great?
And I did a bunch of stuff while watching it, too.
I like that you have to defend that you did other stuff while watching wall-to-wall football.
Well, I got up and mowed 2 lawns and did a bunch of other stuff before football started, and then put together a couple of shelves while watching football.
Fair enough, Josh. Fair enough. That's on me. That's my bad. I need you to know, Josh. I need you to know that we talk to a lot of college football fans on a daily basis, and as Lonzo will attest, many of them are unjustifiably arrogant about their teams this early in the season and are cruising for a butt whooping later on in it. And I'm trying to protect those Georgia fans that are like, oh, we're back. I'm trying to protect you from the hellstorm that's coming if you go out there with arrogance once you lose a game at some point.
But you're acting like they haven't experienced that before.
True story. It's Georgia. No, so my bad, Josh. You know what I was going for. Nathan Green, who would you like to see win the 2 major championships in WWE next? Big E forever. Cash in successfully. Here's what
there is nothing like Big E just laughing with
just popping up around Heyman in different costumes.
Yeah, that's so great. And Heyman he plays that off so well.
So good. By the way, is there a better rivalry on SmackDown than Heyman versus Caleb Braxton? I don't think there is. I think that's the best rivalry they have going right now.
Her smiles are so genuine when she gets on. Yeah.
It's incredible.
No, I had a pretty good football weekend, except for one game. But 3-4-1, and the one who lost. I have a solution for that. When we get to it, I have a solution. And what about all the hype around certain teams like Buffalo? They're showing Buffalo right now.
I had to tell you, I was disappointed in the Bills. I think they may have read their own press clippings a little bit. They thought they were going to roll.
Or maybe Pittsburgh and
Pittsburgh's not a bad team.
Pittsburgh ain't dead yet.
I think they're being underrated.
Well, they're having to deal with all the hype from Cleveland, which is necessary, and the hype for Baltimore, which we're going to find out tonight if the Raiders have an answer for them. One thing the Raiders don't have to fear, Baltimore's running game. But
true. Well, they picked up Latavius Murray. I would keep an eye on Latavius. He's going to run angry after getting cut by the Saints. Yeah, I get it, Josh. I get it.
And by the way, Jonathan, that's been my problem with NIL all along. One of my concerns.
NIL?
NIL.
Gotcha.
I said NIL.
Oh, NIL. I thought you said NIL, and I was like, in the injured list? What?
Don't make me have to say name and likeness. I mean, there's effort that goes into that. Hey, look, there's sunshine.
Friend of the show, Tim Frisbee, woke up and chose violence today. He texted some career opportunities for Rob. Lou Holtz impersonator, voice actor for Sylvester the Cat, and bib salesman. Wow, Tim. It's going to come at me like that. That's actually really funny.
Are you thinking about the Lou?
I did. Absolutely did.
Yeah.
Absolutely did. I can't do that because I can't.
Yeah, and wait. In the COVID world, you can't do that impersonation.
You can't do Sylvester the Cat?
No, because there'll be stuff all over this class.
I got you.
I
was trying to figure out when Sylvester got canceled.
Yeah, it's just particles.
Canceled Sylvester the Cat?
It's particles, man. You can't do that without, something flying.
All right, a couple of texts that have come in on the stream and on the English Market text line at 71307. Let's see. Jonathan Bryson said, Rob, you are on the money. DJ is a stud of a baller, but he lacks the X factor. He called him, quote, DJ is the next Kelly Bryant, end quote. Wow. Big heat from John Bryson there. Let's see. He says that Clemson needs to go get Arch Manning because Fuma Chen doesn't have the X factor either. And then another one said, hopefully the new ability for these kids to sign these Dr. Pepper ads and the like doesn't make them feel like they don't have to work so hard. I don't know, man.
That's what I've been saying from the beginning. That my concern is, hey, I just got paid. Why do I gotta work as hard as everybody else? Because a lot of those kids out there are working really hard to get to the next level to get that money. You already got that money. What happens a lot of times in the NFL when a guy gets a big contract? Their play on the field drops off. It happens a ton, especially.
Yes, and I want when the contract negotiations for us come up next time, I can't wait for the big boss to go, Lonzo, you work really, really hard, but we're not going to give you a raise because we're afraid it would make you work less hard. You would be pissed, man.
What makes you think I haven't heard that already?
Maybe that's where the anger comes from. Couple other texters, though. ESPN LeVar Ball is delusional, though. Still thinks he can beat MJ one-on-one. Yeah, listen, I don't know Big Dave. I don't know Big Dave's attitude. I've heard one interview with Big Dave on Offsides with Mark Ryan, which was, I want to say, a week and a half ago. Go to Odyssey.com and you can find that on our podcast section and listen to that interview. Go check that out. I listened to that. I didn't get the impression that he is a LeVar Ball, but like I said, then I went and I looked through his Twitter profile, and it just seems to me like he maybe built DJ up into this mythic monster in DJ's head. And the game's it's not that he's wrong for being that way, Lonzo. It's that the game isn't coming to him as easily as he thought that it would. That's what it looks like to me. And when the game doesn't come to you as easily, I don't know about you. Actually, I do know this about Lonzo. Lonzo and I have a lot in common. And one of the things that we have in common is we both get really frustrated if something doesn't just come, like if we don't just get it. If we're just not good at something, we get really frustrated, right? We went curling 2 weeks ago, which, by the way, I'm going again tomorrow night. We went curling 2 weeks ago. And the first time that the folks teaching the curling class said, go ahead and curl all the way down the ice, I threw my rock. My rock got about 80% of the way there and stopped. And Lonzo, I was furious that I didn't put the stone right on the button. The literal first time I had ever thrown a curling stone in my 37 almost years of life on this planet, I was furious that I was just not naturally dropping bullseyes down. I get mad. I get worse when things don't come to me naturally. And I'm wondering if the Big Dave method didn't teach DJ, you are a golden god on the football gridiron, and all this will just be easy to you. And now that he is the starter, now that the pressure's on, and now that it's not coming easy to him, it's just not getting better because he's frustrated. I wonder. But there are concerns about the coaching staff, too. Texter says Clemson coaching staff is stagnant, and it's showing. They can't expect to just out-athlete every team. We're going to talk about that coming up next on the Rob Brown Show. Rob Lonzo, it's ESPN Upstate. Harley Davidson of Greenville is listen, I started off sometimes with saying, they're not just trying to sell. They are trying to sell you a motorcycle. Of course they are. But they're not trying to sell you a motorcycle. Like, here's your bike. Goodbye. They want you to become part of the family. They want you to become part of the family, the way of life. And trust me, it is a family and it is a way of life. When I got the call a few months ago, they said, Rob, you're the only guy in the building that rides a motorcycle. We want you to go talk to Harley Davidson of Greenville, see if it's a good partnership. I said, yeah, okay, cool. Maybe it is, maybe it ain't. I don't take every endorsement that gets thrown my way. So I went down there and I talked to Chesley and I talked to everybody in the shop and all the folks that were on the sales floor. And I got to tell you, I was blown away. When I sat down, first off, the showroom is absolutely beautiful at 30 Chrome Drive. 30 Chrome Drive in the Ville. Showroom is beautiful. The attention to detail is immaculate. There was not a speck of dust in the place. Then I started looking at the inventory, and I turned the corner, and I'm like, wow, man, look at all these brand new 2021s. They're gorgeous. And Chesley was like, look over there. And there's like a whole other half the room. Then she said, wait, you want to see something else? Come to the other showroom. Yeah, the other showroom. And we walked over to the other showroom. And what's in the other showroom? The other showroom has the largest selection of pre-owned inventory in the entire upstate. The bike of your dreams is there. You just got to go talk to them, and they are going to get you in it. It's Harley-Davidson of Greenville, 30 Chrome Drive. Check them out online at upstateharley.com, upstateharley.com. Join the way of life. It's Harley-Davidson of Greenville.
So last time when you went curling, which side was really sore?
Right.
Which side is not functioning well?
Left.
Are you sure you want to?
You think Bell's palsy is a side effect of
No. On the side,
literally on my face.
Okay, because
it's if I drew you a line, it's this.
Oh, I can see.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, you already have an ailment. You're going to put yourself into a position of another ailment.
Because if I can be good while I'm going through this, imagine what I'm
okay.
When I'm back to 100%.
Right. I also want to point out after Rob didn't get it all the way down the ice, I did.
On the first one.
Yeah, I did on the first one.
On the second one, I dropped it yay far from the button. I just had to get the feel.
I got on the first one, but I had to fall to do it.
Did. I never fell once.
It ain't like I face planted. I caught myself, but I put everything into it. That's why. Sometimes we put everything into it, you fall. I just fell so I wouldn't fall on my left knee.
Yeah.
I am looking forward to Thursday. Time to bowl.
That's right.
Time to meet all the people. And by the way, if you're watching and you haven't signed up for Stoneman's Bad Bowlers Club, you need to. I believe you still got time to sign up so you can come and bowl with us for the next 8 weeks and have a lot of fun and win prizes and listen to us heckle each other. We may even heckle you. I don't know. It's a possibility. Out of the 3 people you could heckle on the bowl, who do you want to heckle the most? Because I have a person who I really want to heckle.
Initially it was Diesel, but Stoneman's.
It's Stoneman for sure.
In the power rankings.
Yeah.
Diesel and I have that like.
I don't think Diesel can be rattled. By the way, it's kind of a waste of time. But Stoneman, there's an arrogance there. It's an arrogance way above his head, so to speak.
I think Diesel can only be rattled by himself. We just got to get Diesel to throw a couple of gutter balls, and then he's in his own head, and then we can just stop. We can leave him alone because nobody's going to be. I'm that way too.
Oh,
if you can get me to throw 2 gutter balls, you just leave me alone because I'm in my own head.
Oh, the classic one is to walk up right when they're bowling and drop a ball behind them. That's the one right there. That will really make you mad if you're a serious bowler, and he is, because I've seen him bowl. So.
All right, wrapping up hour number 1. We're going to bring this conversation into hour number 2. Texter says ESPN, Clemson's coaching staff is stagnant, and it's showing now. You can't expect to just out-athlete every team. I think that's the problem. Look, the option worked really well. I think the first 3 touchdowns for Clemson were all run on the option down inside the 5-yard line, which is fine. But against bigger, badder defensive lines, you're going to have to get more creative. And I've seen a lot of folks with a lot of question marks about Tony Elliott's play calling. Told you, go back to that Georgia game. Go back to that Georgia game and watch with about 2 minutes left in the first half. Dabo takes over the play calling, or at least it looks like he does. I didn't hear anybody ask him that in the press conference. In fact, on Saturday night, I almost jumped onto that press conference to ask him, did you take over play calling and why? But I couldn't get in time. I wish I would have. But there's a lot of folks feel that way that this texter feels. All right, we got more of that coming up. Full breakdown of South Carolina's win over ECU and a trip around the rest of college football coming up next on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate.
No guests? Do we have guests today?
Corey, yes.
Okay.
Which
is later, right?
No, he's coming up. Did I tell him 1 o'clock? I think we've had him. We've been having him on at 1, right?
I can't say that I recall. I do know that we were going to do a phone list.
I did it. I typed it out. I just didn't print it for you.
Oh, okay.
I have it ready for
you.
I'll give it to you after the show.
It's my fault.
No. I told you I'd do it, and I just forgot to. I typed it out. It's ready. I just got to print it for you. Corey is. Let me mute the stream.
Hang on. It's right up.
Y'all, I forgot to come back to the stream, but Lonzo just dropped A+ small talk on Corey Diaz.
Yeah, but it threw him though. It threw him though. So
because he's not used to it.
This is why I don't do that though.
A+ small talk.
It just doesn't work for me.
I mean, world class. Hour number 2 of the Rob Brown Show. right here on ESPN Upstate. I am Rob Brown, the pinnacle of professionalism. Lonzo directly across from me. On the other side of the glass and to the phone lines we go every Monday at 1 p.m. We take a short jog right on down the road to Columbia, South Carolina, and welcome in the gentleman who has been sent there by the Greenville News to cover the Gamecocks live and in living color. Corey Diaz joins us here on the Rob Brown Show. Corey, what up, fella? How we feeling after a big win, buddy?
Big win is a relative term, right? Nah, man. First road trip of the year in the books. Obviously got a big one this coming Saturday.
Talk to me a little bit about it. We're going to get to Georgia. We'll preview Georgia coming up here in just a minute, but I want to go back and talk, obviously, about the ECU win. South Carolina opened as a 3-point underdog in this game. The money line swang all the way to USC being a 2.5-point favorite. They just eclipsed that mark with a 3-point win. Corey, it was ugly. It was sloppy. There were turnovers. There were penalties. A lot went wrong, but the team gutted out the win. What should South Carolina fans focus on? What went wrong, or the fact that the team was able to go gut out a win against a team that they initially opened up as an underdog to?
Rob, I think that's a great question. Now that I've had a couple of days to kind of sit here and kind of think back on, what we all witnessed on Saturday morning. For me personally, man, I gravitate toward the negative, man. It's the second straight week. And Shane talked a little bit about this, in post-game presser in our Sunday night teleconference as well. There's a lot of things that this team is trying to navigate from a discipline standpoint, that once you get into league play, and once you get into, say Sanford Stadium, or you're playing Kentucky at home, or you're going on the road and you're in Knoxville at Neyland Stadium, you can't give away first downs. You can't extend drives with dumb penalties, taunting penalties, or, false starts in the red zone, or you can't stub your toe doing those sort of things in these big environments, when you've got, a lot of young kids out there. You just can't do that. And, obviously, man, for me, again, I was very underwhelmed with the performance of the offensive line. I know East Carolina up front was going to be better than Eastern Illinois. I mean, everyone knew that going into the game. But for the second straight week, man, they looked confused out there. I think there were some blitz packages that just completely caught South Carolina's offensive line off guard, and there were some guys that were running unchecked, to lay a hit on Zeb Nolan. And so when you think about what's going to be coming up here in 5 days, that to me is very concerning. Now, again, Rob, to your point there right at the end. Yeah, this team could have easily folded, with the way it played the first three quarters this past Saturday. Could have easily said, look, man, we're just going to fold up like a lawn chair. Let's just, get this thing over with, get back on the plane, fly back down to Columbia. No, man. I mean, you have to do credit this team's resolve. They really checked, their guts. I think that was a Dabo Swinney quote, so I'll probably get a lot of hate mail for that. But they checked their guts, man, and they came out. They were trailing. There was less than 5 minutes to go in the game. They have not looked great all day long. And they went down there, man, and they put together the game-winning drive. The freshman running back Juju McDowell, I thought he was huge on that game-winning drive, man, huge. I think he carried the ball 5 times. I think it was 5 carries for 45 yards, a couple of 15-plus yard runs on that drive. He's a guy that, we kind of knew coming into the year was going to be a big factor and play a role, a big contributing role in this offense. But I think as each week goes along, I think we're seeing that this is a guy that, he may be 18, 19 years old, but he may be one of the more mature and ready for the bright lights players on this team.
Third downs, Corey, not to hype on the negative, but I think that's how you get better. Third downs were abysmal for this team. ECU was bringing different blitz packages, but they were consistently blitzing on third down. The offensive line did not look up the snuff. I want to say they started South Carolina like 2 for 11 on third down conversions, including a couple that were pretty short yard conversions. And I didn't see adjustments getting made. Have you heard from Shane Beamer or any of the offensive staff about why they struggled so much on third down and what, if any, changes might be made for Georgia to try to be more successful on third down conversions?
Yeah, there's, since the game Saturday afternoon, there has been some talk, about, what's going to have to happen, in order to, to improve, in that statistic, and again, especially the ones where it was 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, and the first down wasn't converted. Those are situations where, that certainly starts up front. That's whether it's, offensive linemen or if it's, 1 and or 2 tight ends that are on the field that are missing their blocks or not checking their assignments. Maybe it could be a running back that's not picking up the right guy in terms of who they expect to blitz and from what hole, what gap. So there's a lot that goes into it, and it goes back to, getting back, once you come back, whether it's a road trip or a home game, when you get back into the football facility building on Sunday, and you get into that film study, man, it's about, it's about taking the right notes. It's about recognizing, what the mistakes were, what you missed, and how you go to correct it. It's going to be repetition. It's going to be reps and practice. That's the thing. And that's what's interesting is, they're loaded at the tight end position in terms of talent. They're loaded at the running back position in terms of talent. So when you think about it from that standpoint, Rob, you're splitting a lot of reps and practice among a lot of guys. There's not two tight ends getting a bunch of reps. There's 4 guys that they feel really good about that position. There's 4 running backs, that they feel really good at that position. And you can only get so many reps in practice. So you're having to split those up. So it's a matter of, guys, when they're on the sideline of practice, they really need to be paying attention, to the other guys going through those skill drills and those reps, and so there's a lot that goes into this, probably a lot of really boring stuff that, a lot of people aren't really fascinated in, but, it's the truth, man. It's about practice, man. And, it's about getting the right guys on the field, the guys that are doing it the right way, that are not missing their assignments. When those situations in the game arise, you got to have the right guys on the field.
Talking to Corey Diaz, he is the South Carolina beat reporter for the Greenville News based out of Columbia. Let's talk quarterback for a second. We all saw Luke Doty warming up before the game, getting his pregame drills on. He's been dressed the last couple of weeks, but just hasn't played. The rumor going around, Corey, was that through warmups, there was just still a little bit of soreness left in that foot, and ultimately Shane Beamer decided not to risk him. I assume it's because Georgia is just around the pipe that they decided to give him another week of rest, but can you confirm or deny that?
Yeah, we can confirm, through our teleconference with Shane last night. Shane, Marcus Satterfield, Luke himself, the medical team, they weren't confident, in rolling Luke out there, and the reason behind that, Rob, is this is predicated on Luke's skill set. Yeah, he's a quarterback. He's obviously going to throw the ball once he's able to get out on the field. But a big part of his game, man, is his legs, and it's his ability to not only escape pressure, but there's going to be plays that are called for him that are gonna get him out of the pocket, that are designed that way, and he has to be, able to, rebound from those plays. And it's not a practice to practice thing with Luke right now. It's really a rep to rep thing. Shane's mentioned he'll take 2 or 3 reps in practice, and then his foot starts to be sore, and if you can't go 3 plays without your, foot becoming sore, you're not 100% healthy. And, again, and really, if you look at what East Carolina was doing, in their defensive front 7, there was really no reason to run Luke out there. You stand to put him out there and potentially, re-aggravate or make a slight injury worse at this point. We know Georgia's coming up this weekend, and it could be something that they hold in their back pocket. But, if Luke is continuing to battle, this sprained foot, rep to rep, he's not going to be available to play at Georgia. So they, Shane and Marcus, they've talked about, they only practice for about 45 minutes on Sunday evening before Shane jumps on the teleconference with us. And so, and Monday is an off day. It's kind of a, get into the facility, get your treatment, get your, whatever you need. And then they really hit it hard Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So this week, those will be the 3 days that will be really critical for Luke and whether or not he'll be able to play in Athens on Saturday night.
Corey Diaz from the Greenville News joining us here on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate. So I guess that kind of answered that question. I was going to ask Nesk, are we going to see Luke Deddy for Georgia? And it sounds like the answer is a pretty solid, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think it's 100% up in the air, man. My personal belief and kind of the rumblings that I was hearing ahead of the game last weekend was that if we were to see Luke, it would probably be late. And I think it would have been in a situation where South Carolina would have been up kind of big late, it would have been kind of in that mop up duty. But, obviously we didn't get into that situation this past Saturday. So, at this point now kind of really getting a little more knowledge into, where that foot is for Luke. I think it kind of puts, his status for this weekend against Georgia a little more up in the air. I'm hoping to hear more, kind of as this week progresses. I especially would like to have some conversations with some sources and the folks inside the football program, maybe after Tuesday's practice. I know we'll meet with Shane on Tuesday, but I think we'd all be crazy if we thought that he'd come in and say, "Oh yeah, okay, Luke's going to play." I think he's going to, even if Luke's going to be available and be ready to go by Saturday. I don't think we'll hear anything before an hour, 30 minutes, or maybe even 10 minutes before kickoff. So, but maybe some folks inside the football program would be willing to say, "Oh man, he looked great in practice. He says he's feeling great." So we'll see as this week goes. But as of right now, man, I'm fully expecting Zeb Nolan to be the starting quarterback. And that's a great story too. An Athens kid, basically coming back home to play the hometown team after just a wild journey, man, to get to this point. So the Zeb Nolan remarkable, unfathomable story continues to unravel. He's been a good game manager, man. But they're going to need more. They're going to need more against Georgia from Zeb. They're going to need more from the offensive line, of course, from the receivers. There was some bad fumbles from the receivers this past Saturday. You can't have that stuff against a team like Georgia, against I think statistically the best defense in the country. You just can't do that stuff. And so, we'll see how this goes, man. I'm expecting Zeb to start. And, I think if Luke's ready, we'll see him. But if he's not 100%, I don't think there'll be a risk there to run him out there.
All right. So, one or two more, Corey, and then we'll cut you loose. When we were doing our preseason prognostications for the Gamecocks, what I said was, I thought bowl eligibility was a good target. I think the potential is there to get to 7. It needed to start off 2-0 for that to happen. It did. And I think it's pretty much assumed, that I don't think unfairly, that South Carolina is just outmanned and outgunned by the number 2 team in the country this weekend. I am looking more ahead to the Kentucky team, right? I'm looking more ahead to Kentucky. I want to see South Carolina fight this weekend. I want to see them go out there and give everything they got this weekend. I want to see them lay it on the line and give Georgia the best game that they can have. But To me, it's about how do you take that licking and roll into week 3 or roll into week 4, 2-1, coming off a bad loss, and rebound. Shane Beamer, I think this week and next week, Corey, is arguably the most 2 pivotal weeks of maybe his coaching career. Not because he needs to win both, but because if his team comes out of this still pushing, still fighting against Kentucky next week, that means they have bought in entirely. Whereas if we see a team against Kentucky that gives up after a loss to Georgia, it could go downhill quick. How important is it for Shane Beamer's team to fight this weekend, but bounce back next weekend if what we think happens against Georgia does?
Well, Rob, honestly, man, for me, I kind of go back to this past weekend. I think that last quarter, at Dowdy-Ficklen Stadium, I really do think, and again, I know I started this segment and I was not very positive about the performance that we saw as a whole, but I do think that last quarter, man, at East Carolina was kind of big for this football team. Again, I've been told, I had some people send me some emails after the game on Saturday. I had people in my mentions on Twitter after Saturday mentioning that in years past, man, as recently as last year, they thought that if those previous South Carolina teams would have found themselves in that situation, they would have folded and they would have lost this game. But they came back and they won. They found a way. That was his phrase that Shane used this past Saturday after the game was find a way. They found a way to win. I don't think this team, look, if it finishes within 4 touchdowns of Georgia on Saturday, I mean, I think it's really kind of the mood and the attitude and the mentality and how this team plays. If it has, a derogatory and a bad body language, I don't think that'd be a good look. But if the body language and the effort, especially on the defensive side of the ball, if you're losing by 3 or 4 scores, if all 11 guys on the defense are still running to the ball, trying to make tackles, I think that would be, a really good thing to see. If wide receivers or running backs are still fighting for that extra yard or 2, I think that would be a great thing to see, regardless of what the scoreboard is telling us on Saturday night. Look, you're right, Rob. I mean, the next game is important. The Kentucky game is important. But I personally think the fourth quarter at ECU, I think maybe you and I could have a conversation 4, 5, 6 weeks from now. Again, and what you had prognosticated for this team to potentially pull off, if it's within reach, I think that fourth quarter, in Greenville, North Carolina, is kind of the jumping off point for that potential scenario to play itself out, to me personally.
Corey Diaz is a beat reporter covering the Gamecocks of South Carolina football program over in Columbia on behalf of the Greenville News. You can follow him on the Twitter device at CORYDIAZ_TGN. He is a must follow for Gamecocks fans. Corey, my man, always good to talk to you, buddy. I know next Monday is going to be a very interesting conversation, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, sir. Always looking forward to it. Appreciate you guys, and y'all have a good week.
There you go. That's Corey Diaz from the Greenville News joining us here on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate. Quick break. We are back after this. Another discussion about that game. Plus, what a wild week in NFL. Week number 1, and it got weird. Did Aaron Rodgers quit on his team, or are the Saints legit? That and more coming up on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate. Georgia's. I turned it back on, Steven. Lonzo and I were having very important work conversations.
But this is proof right there. That's just proof.
Texas says, Rob, dude, Georgia remembers what U of SC did to the Sacred Bushes at Georgia. The score is going to be ugly, 54-3 Georgia. Eesh. I don't know, man.
Is there a line out there yet?
We could certainly check.
Yeah, I'm curious about that.
I'm going to say.
I'm starting to like this line thing.
I know. I see that. I see that. Although, I got to tell you, after I went through our NFL picks, though, and we're going to do our pick record coming up here in a minute. After I went through our NFL picks, you were now beating me by one game.
Yeah, I care too much about NFL. College is a little more, I'm more analytical when it comes to that.
Georgia's a 30.5-point favorite over South Carolina. Over under set at 52.5, meaning they are expecting about a 30. I don't know. I'd say they're probably predicting like a 42-18, 17 game. So you might. I don't think it's going to be 54-3.
Looking at how South Carolina's offense has worked the last 2 weeks, I don't see them scoring a point. And
you don't see them scoring.
I don't see South Carolina.
Shutouts, says Lonzo.
I think Georgia's defense is that good, and I think South Carolina's offense is too generic right now.
Shout out to my man Josh in the chat who hit me with the line before I can find the line. It's 30 in the hook.
Is that a common phrase in a hook?
Yeah. So all right. So when you have the line and then you have the 0.5 on the end, that's called the hook. It's to hook you to either go above or below.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it looks like BetMGM's has it 30 and a hook. Caesars has it 30.5. You can get a push line at a couple of places that have it at 31, but 30.5 is about the lowest. 30.5 is the lowest you can get that line down.
So if Luke Doty was named as a starter, would the line move?
That's what I think it's sitting at 30.5 for, is because there's a question mark about that, right? I think 30.5 is a fair number with Zeb Nolan starting, but it's not a fair number if Luke Doty starts. I think you're looking at probably 24.5, 21.5 if Doty starts.
On a kid we haven't really seen play. I mean, okay.
I'm not saying I love it. I'm just saying I think that's what's going to end up happening. I do. So one thing we have not talked about yet, and I was going to hold this off, but Lonzo, I see you've elected to wear your Chief jersey today.
In particular, a certain number of Chief jersey.
The Travis Kelce Hero Ball jersey today.
Very important jersey.
I noticed that you have elected not to wear scarlet and gray today. What happened, Zoe? What happened to the Buckeye boys? Let
me be the first one to, it's usually an overreaction Monday, but let me be the first one to say, and maybe not the first one because I haven't looked, fire Ryan Day. Yeah.
Stop it.
Now here's where guys, he won with Urban Meyer, guys. We've seen this happen time and time and again. A coach takes over or comes in and has players that he inherits that are really, really good players. You have to admit, you cannot deny he inherited a pretty good team when he took over. Did he not?
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, and was able to win some games with that. We're playing with Ryan Day's players right now, and especially on defense, I mean, when the announcer's pointing out over and over again, why are they playing this defense? Why don't they play zone? They're playing right into the hands of Oregon. Why are they not changing things up? And this is such a generic defense. And I know Ryan Day's an offensive guy, but he's also the head coach over everything. And maybe we're starting to see a deficiency of talent. Maybe we're starting to see a problem with coaching. And maybe it's time for Ryan Day to go. A loss this early in the season is unacceptable to a team that they should not lose to. And I think it's time to get run. Got to find somebody else. This will not be, unfortunately, the first loss that Ohio State has in the regular season. And if you remember, I had trepidation when we were pointing out our top four, and the one that I was most worried about was Ohio State, and it had nothing to do with me being a fan of the team, which I am and will be for life. It had to do with the fact that didn't know anything about the young quarterback who has Cam Newton-like tendencies when it comes to when he throws the ball. Sometimes they sail, and that's what I mean. Sometimes he had some wide open guys, and they sailed on him. That's one thing that Cam Newton did a whole lot. When the guy's wide open and you're not able to hit him, and that has me concerned about him. I'm definitely concerned about the defense, and I think it's time for Ryan Day to go.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, Lonzo slamming the panic button on the season after a loss and to not a bad Oregon team. That's a top 12. Lonzo, you lost to a top 12 team, right? You didn't lose to Rutgers. You didn't lose to Maryland. You lost to a good top 12 Oregon team. And by the way, perhaps, maybe, just maybe, we jumped the gun a little bit on the Pac-12 being bad. UCLA knocks off LSU. Oregon goes into Buckeyeville and knocks off Ohio State. Lonzo slamming the panic button down after the L. I think maybe slow your roll just a little bit, Lonzo. I do think that there was probably a coronation of Ryan Day a touch early. I won't disagree with that, but I don't think it's time to kick him to the curb. Can you kick him to the curb a year after being in the national championship game? Because you lost one game to a top 12, now probably top 10 team from the Pac-12. Here's what you got left. Tulsa win, Akron win, Rutgers win, Maryland win. Indiana look a little more interesting to you, Lonzo? Are you a little nervous about Indiana football?
Oh, we had a discussion about Indiana football early on. I think it was Indiana, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I told you I thought they were better than what you were giving them credit for. And yeah, I have concerns about it.
Indiana lost to Iowa 34-6.
Iowa's a team you need to watch out for.
Iowa's a good team. Then you got Penn State, but that one's in Buckeyeville. That's in Columbus. You should be okay with that.
By the way, Penn State's
not terrible either.
Knocked off Wisconsin.
I like James Franklin. Will continue to. Then you got Nebraska. We're going to find out who Nebraska is this weekend, like officially. They're not good, but everybody else is going to find that out. Then you got Purdue. That's a win. Michigan State should be a win. And then you got Michigan on the road in the shoe. In the big show. In the big house, the big house. I don't know, Lonzo. I mean, Michigan looked better this week.
All right. So I wanted to look on Twitter to see if there was a Fire Ryan Day Twitter yet. And there's not, but there is Fire Coombs, the defensive coordinator.
Yeah,
and
I accept that.
And Ben Stroud.
I accept that. Don't love the play call.
A ton of Ryan Day needs to fire as defensive coordinator. Ryan Day needs to fire. I mean, yeah.
Somebody asked me a minute ago. We obviously, if you missed it, we were talking about the Clemson play calling, which, as I mentioned, I agree with the folks who say it's stale. I agree with you. I think it's stale. I think it's predictable. I think it's gotten to the point that it's a little bit easy to see what's coming and where it's coming from for Clemson.
Hey, I can't stand Clemson, but I'll take Brent Venables at Ohio State. Bring him in as a defensive coordinator. Yeah, I'm good with that.
It's not the defense. It's 100% the offensive play calling. It's Tony Elliott's side of the ball that there are question marks about. I don't think anybody has any ill word towards Dabo. It's the coordinators. And I suspect, at least to some degree, that's the same for the Ohio State fans. I suspect. Could be wrong.
It is, but ultimately the top guy is the guy who makes the decisions on those coordinators.
But it's one loss. Do you panic after one loss to a top 12 team?
Well, there's no panic. You
just said fire Ryan Day. That is the definition of panic.
Do I look panicked? No. This is the reality of the situation. We expect more at Ohio State than a loss to Oregon.
Dexter says, dang, Lonzo, tough. Fire the coach after one top 12 loss. Man.
Not liking the direction.
Okay. All right. How about this? LSU running back John Emery has just lost his eligibility for the year, Lonzo, because he was registered in a wrong class and did not hit his eligibility requirements for scholarship. How about that? Woof. Woof.
So you can make millions of dollars now, but you better go to class.
Better make sure, hey,
or at least make it look like you go to
that's
class.
what I was worried about. Making sure that they still athletes and students before they're money makers. There you go. There you go. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back here in just a minute. What else we got? We got NFL to get into. Oh, so FSU lost to Jacksonville State. LO freaking L. FCS squad. First time FSU's ever lost to an FCS squad. But something happened after the game that I need to ask you guys about. Something happened after the game that I got to see how we feel about it collectively. That's next on the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate. No, Fitzy!
The Heineke era has begun.
Fitzy, no! I needed the Fitz magic in my life.
I believe you got a hip.
He does got a busted hip. Yup.
That's what happens when you get old. You got hip problems.
As Dr. Weezer once called it, they said, what's wrong? And he said, hip, hip. Hip, hip.
No. I got it. I just
hip, hip.
You are the king of that. I appreciate that.
Hip.
Steven, the thing that happened was they're rewiring some things and it caused it to not work. But our wonderful engineers are in there right now, as we speak, building a dedicated computer to take care of it, where I can be where I need to be and everything works and I don't have to use my laptop anymore and a lot of things like that. So we'll be good this weekend. I appreciate you asking, though. Not only is the engineering department doing it, and this is kind of cool, but Chris is the one who's putting it all together. So, so.
So, because I can't get my eye to close all the way, Zoe.
Welcome to the eye patch.
I now have to do my best impression of the governor.
You should do that.
I actually brought it today, but I forgot it. I mean, I was going to bring it today, but I forgot to pick it up before I left the house. Because I have to force my eyes closed every hour for 5 to 10 minutes to make sure it's well lubricated and doesn't dry out.
Yeah.
But I forgot to bring it. That was your boy last night. I told Courtney I kind of thought I looked like a registered badass like this. I'm not going to lie. I think it's a good look.
See, I saw it. The first thing I thought was Alistair Black, Malachi Black.
Fair enough.
Whatever.
That's good, yeah. Are you into pirate stuff at all? Television shows, media, movies, you weirdo, Lonzo. Are you into pirate-related media, you jerk?
All right, you happy? You got me to laugh. You got me to laugh out loud. I watched the first couple Pirates of the Caribbean. I also believe that pirates got a good shot against Ninjas. I mean,
There's been an HBO show called Black Flags.
it's just Black Flag. I've seen
Black Flag.
Yeah, I've seen bits and pieces of it.
It's very good.
It's also pretty raunchy.
It's very adult oriented, but it's a fun. It is arguably the best pirate show.
Just happened to tune in when they introduced someone to Blackbeard. So yeah, I would say it's pretty raunchy.
Blackbeard is a G in that show. Have mercy.
Mad World in the next break.
Okay.
So I was asked about the big fight from Vince, and I forgot all about the big fight that happened Sunday. Wasn't much of a big fight. Yeah. Like, nah, I was watching football.
Big fight.
You're right, Steven. It would have worked perfectly.
The Rob Brown Show back on your radio. It's ESPN Upstate. Rob Alonzo and you. So, Florida State lost to Jacksonville State on. Did you see the end of this game, Zoe? Did you see the end of this one? A walk-off Hail Mary final play touchdown. It was embarrassing, ladies and gentlemen. It was absolutely embarrassing. I will tell you, I thought a couple of years back under Willie Taggart that Florida State had hit rock bottom. Florida State has now hit rock bottom. This is it. This is the lowest program has ever sunk. I'd like to think that you got to hit the bottom to bounce back to the top, but absolutely unacceptable to lose to an FCS team in Jacksonville State at home on a walk-off Hail Mary touchdown. Lonzo, let me ask you a question. You get to play defensive coordinator for a second. It is the fourth quarter. There are 5 seconds left on the clock. Jacksonville State has one timeout left. They got to go about 69 yards to do something with the football. 5 seconds left on the clock. They are under position. You're the defensive coordinator. What defense are you calling, and what are you telling your defenders before that play gets snapped off?
Well, I think most coaches would call it prevent. First of all, you don't let anyone get behind you. And I would call some sort of blitz and keep my guys midfield to deep. And again, not let anyone get beyond them. But I'm bringing pressure, but I'm that guy.
Okay. I'm fine with that because anything would have been better than what they did do. Anything. They rushed 3. They had single high safety coverage. Single high. One guy back. Man coverage on the outside. Everybody else across the middle of the field. Mike Norvell said, well, they had one timeout left, and we didn't want to give up anything underneath. Mike, that's the only thing you should have given up. Mike?
All right, so I blanked on part of the scenario. Did they need a touchdown to win?
Yeah.
Okay.
A field goal ties.
Well, that's okay.
A field goal ties.
Okay.
But again, 5 seconds. If the ball is, if it's a long enough play, though, for them to get in a field goal range, it's 5 second play. They don't have time.
That's a good point. Unless it's a long pass on the sideline, they get out.
Unless it's a long pass. So 3 deep with their ankles on the goal line, 2 deep on the 20. Everybody else up front, don't let whatever. The one thing you can't do is play single high deeps. It was the most embarrassing play call in the history of Florida State football. Now, here's why I bring it up. Not because I care about that game, Lonzo, but because immediately after the game, a picture began going around on social media of an FSU player, Lonzo, who brought his girlfriend down into the end zone and proposed to her on the field after his team got walked off by an FCS team with the entire Jacksonville State team partying in the other end zone. So his engagement photos now have an FCS team that just whooped his team's ass on the field celebrating seconds before they planted their flag on the 50-yard line at Doak S. Campbell Stadium.
You know, I get all that sucks. It does, but if you already have it planned out, what do you do? Do you call off the engagement?
My question. That's my question. If you are the Florida State player, who, by the way, if there's a game on the schedule that you pick to propose, why am I saying so many words that start with P? If there's a game on the schedule that you pick to propose to your girlfriend during this pandemic, you pick Jacksonville State. It's an FCS team. Of course you're going to win that game. No matter how bad you are, you're going to win that game.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You pick that. Of course you pick the Jacksonville State game to propose. But is there a point that you go, oh, man, I think I'll just take her to a really nice dinner tomorrow? Like, I know it's cool, and I know it's great. I'm in my jersey. She gets to come down on the field and be a part of this. But here's the thing.
If you drop hints and she knows you're going to propose there and you don't, then what kind of signal are you sending her? Then suddenly she's like, I guess he doesn't love me. I guess he doesn't want to marry me. I mean, it's a tough situation for that dude.
If she's the type of woman who's going to marry a football player, she understands what happened here, right? If she's the type of woman who can go, I know you're a football player. I know all that demands. I know all that has to go into that. I know the sacrifices that you have to make to be a college football player at this level. I get all of that. If she's the type of woman that understands that, she's going to understand when he takes her out to a really nice dinner and a massage the next day and says, babe, you know how I saw this going, but you know what happened last night? And she goes, yeah, you got your ass whooped by an FCS team, and I was embarrassed too. That's bad.
Unless you use the angle, even during the lowest of lows, I know you can bring me joy. So I had to go through with it here. Even though I was hurting on the inside, I want to spend the rest of my life with it. And you see the pain that I'm in right now.
This kid's engagement will always be marked by the worst football loss of FSU's entire football program. There has never been a worse loss than this. And every time, hey, tell us the story of your proposal, offensive lineman. Yeah, so there we were. Doak S. Campbell Stadium. We had just lost to an FCS team, Jacksonville State, the worst loss in the history of Florida State University football. And I thought, well, now's the time.
But you just made a point of why you do this, because as a football player, you're never going to forget that. So you will always remember when you proposed. So when that anniversary of proposal comes up, you're going to remember because you think the worst loss in the history of Florida State, and you know the exact date, and you never will be in trouble with your wife.
No. Listen, I am fine with selecting memorable dates for things. I know a bunch of people are going to get married next year on like a Tuesday because it's 2/2/22, right? February 22nd. One of my best friends has already selected to have her baby on 2/2/22 for the number. That's fine. Memorialize.
You can select to have your baby.
Yeah, well, if you do it surgically.
Yeah, okay. What if the baby comes sooner?
Then it's not up to her anymore.
Okay. Okay.
But again, kind of a weird one. Quick break. We're back after this on the Rob Brown Show. Texas says team lost, but it sounds like the FSU player left with a win. Yeah. That will always be attached to the worst loss in FSU history. Back after this on ESPN Upstate.
That world.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mad World is open. Every year voted one of America's top haunts and the #1 haunt in South Carolina, as a couple of folks who were recently named the #1 thing that they do in South Carolina. You can take our word that we know what we're talking about. Mad World is incredible. You are going to experience the biggest and scariest haunted attraction. It is full of dark, creepy woods. There are incredible set designs this year, including a haunted hotel that will travel into your nightmares. More scenes, more actors, more scares than ever before. This is not your grandmama's haunted house, ladies and gentlemen. There are escape rooms, creepy carnival games, concessions, a bonfire, incredible photo ops, a gift shop, and this year, their brand new 18-hole Ghost Town mini golf scary entertainment for the entire family. And tickets are available online at madworldattractions.com. Madworldattractions.com. Don't wait until Halloween weekend and show up and have to wait in an hours-long line. Go to Mad World Attractions right now. Get your tickets and beat the crowd. Located in Piedmont off of I-85 exit 35, it is Mad World. Nathan says, anytime that players ask, all he has to do is play the clip of Kevin Durant saying it was fun. Tell us about your engagement. It was fun.
Spectrum Business called their competitors to see if any of them could beat Spectrum's Business Internet Plus phone offer for $69.98 per month with no.
Guy on Twitter said, under promise, over deliver. Keep your expectations nice and low. That's how you stay married. Oh, that's amazing.
I'm going to throw a bottle now. I have successfully thrown said bottle.
Well. Be right back, stream. Hang on.
We're here to take
Texter says the team lost, but it sounds like FSU's player left with a win. Look, I get it, man. Things are bigger than football. Like the Miami cat that got caught by the fans at that game. That's kind of cool, right? I respect that. Listen, all I'm saying is that cat's memory of his engagement. The wife's going to love it. She's not going to care. But that cat's memory is always going to be connected to with the worst loss he took in his career. Now, he's going to pair it up with he's going to say the best win of his life by getting proposed. I'm just saying, But hey, man, to each their own. Coming up in the next segment, Lonzo and I evaluate our picks over the weekend and look through NFL week number 1. We'll tell you what we got right, what we got wrong, and who got what right and wrong on the gridiron. That's next on the Rob Brown Show. It's ESPN Upstate.
Automotivemap.com visits your ESPN Upstate Sports Center update powered by The Score. The first round of the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs will come to an end this upcoming weekend at Bristol at Richmond over the weekend. Martin Truex Jr. picked up a win, finishing in front of Denny Hamlin. Those two guys are in the top 2 spots right now in the playoff standings, followed by Kyle Larson, Joey Logano, Ryan Blaney, Kevin Harvick, Chase Elliott, Christopher Bell, Brad Keselowski, Kyle Busch, Eric Almirola, and then Kurt Busch is the driver just above the cut line. He is not separated by much against Alex Bowman, who is right below the cut line. So they will be jockeying for the 12 spots. Tyler Reddick, William Byron, Michael McDowell.
By the way, and I'm keeping this vague, that kind of lineup classically doesn't do well here
I'm not shocked by
because,
that.
huh?
Said I'm not shocked by that. But
Yeah.
why?
Because of local is king.
Mm-hmm. I'm not as worried about it as I thought it was going to be when I first saw the news.
We have watched 1,000 times that hit the Sugar Bowl from last year. I watched as you're walking off the field. You looked heartbroken. You really did. After having some time to reflect on
Prisma in the first break.
what that meant in your career, can you just kind of give me your thoughts on A, did you think the ejection was warranted, and B, looking back at it, do you think it's going to change the way you play football this year?
There's no way in hell I'm changing the way I play. Love it. Like, I'm going to be as aggressive, tenacious, attacking. That's how I play the game. Instinctual. Do I admit?
Steven is being extra mean and is asking you to do tongue twisters.
I do. 100%. Sure. So the bottom line is they're trying to protect them. And I need to put my head up. But
She sells seashells down by the seashore.
See, that's
S's are
not.
fine.
Yeah, that's not a problem.
If you
What
want
about
to mess
the
with me, you
Peter
need to come-
Piper pick?
Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. That's not bad either.
Dude, you killed that.
No. It's SP. Springs.
I don't know one that does that.
I don't either. If you want to trip me up, it's got to be a word that starts with an S and a P. I am fine with the S. I am fine with the P. I am fine with the B.
All
I'm
right,
fine with
so he thrusts his fist against the post and still insists he sees the ghosts.
I gotta remember. I gotta try to remember.
He
He
thrusts
thrust his fist against the post
and still insists he sees
and
the
still
ghost.
insists he sees a ghost.
That is the
Fine with that.
that is what Bill Denbrough had to learn to try to get rid of his stutter and it.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's just it's SP, ESP, ESPN. That's where you lose me. Not like ESPN is important. That's why you hear me, Lonzo, go on ESPN. Because if I take a break in the middle of it, it doesn't slur over.
I thought you were Jeremy.
Nope. You know, it always used to be ESPN Upstate, but I can't do ESPN Upstate. It's just fee if I try it that way. So I got to go, coming up next on ESPN. Because if I take a break, I can do it just
But
fine.
you know, we make fun of that baseball fan. You could do that perfect now. You don't even like baseball.
The Rob Brown Show back on your radio. This is ESPN Upstate.
Just
Upstate.
go full on Shap, man. Just do it.
Just go for it.
Yeah. Why not?
That's Lonzo over on the other side of the glass. I am the affirmation Rob Brown. So good to have you here on Greenville's choice of sports talk radio stations, ESPN Upstate. Let's jump into it. What do you say we take a look at our picks from the weekend, shall we? Let's go back. We'll start with college ball. We talked about a few of these games so far already. We opened it up with Oregon at Ohio State. The Buckeyes, 11.5-point favorites coming into this one. I thought, Lonzo, I thought about this on Saturday morning as we were getting ready to kick this game off. 11.5 points did feel like a lot of points for a top 12 Pac-12 team coming into Columbus. I almost texted you to tell you I was shifting my pick, but hey, I made it on air. Made on air is final. Turns out we were both wrong there as Ohio State gets beat at home by a full touchdown by the Ducks, who were double-digit dogs in that one. Made Lonzo slam the panic button down, saying it's time to fire Ryan Day over that loss. What a take from the Buckeye apologist here in the building. That being said, Lonzo, even without three of their best players, that Oregon team looks salty, man. And I wonder if that's just the week of being told y'all are going to get run off by 12. They look damn good against the Buckeyes. Just
like any game early in the season, you don't really know if it's a matter of one team being worse and one being better than the hype. And it could be a mix of both.
Sure.
That Ohio State isn't nearly as good as the hype, which is, I believe that for sure. And I think Oregon looked pretty good. They looked fast. Was this emotion for what you were talking about? Was this more an emotional game being told that you don't belong on the field? Or is this a trend? They were still ranked fairly high. So the people who do the ranking thought they were pretty good. And now they're up there. I think they're at 6 now, I believe. Or
AP poll should be coming out.
Or a 4. Maybe a 4.
Actually, it should be coming out any minute now, as a matter of fact. So we'll break that for you when it drops. South Carolina minus 2.5 against ECU. We both took the Gamecocks at minus 2.5 to cover it up. All they needed to do was win by a field goal. Lonzo, you wonder why Vegas is so good at making money. It was a 2.5-point spread. South Carolina wins it by exactly 3, 20-17. So a win there for both of the boys. It was an ugly dub, though, a very ugly dub. But South Carolina gutted it out. Now, the question is, as we talked with Corey just a few minutes ago, an ugly dub, yes, but, sometimes those ugly dubs can give you a little confidence. Now you can win the games. Now you just got to clean up on the way. That's what we wanted to see after last week. We didn't really see too much of a cleanup. They better have their act together this weekend, though, or they will get run by Georgia.
Let's not be ridiculous.
Yeah, let's not get crazy. But a win for both the boys on that one. We split NC State at Mississippi State. I really thought the Wolfpack, they blanked South Florida 45-0 in week 1. South Florida then went on the road in week 2 against Florida and put some points up on the board. I thought NC State was going to be better than that. This was a pick-em contest, meaning no spread. You just had to pick the winner. 24-10, the Bulldogs knock off the Wolfpack. Lonzo gets that one right, selecting the SEC squad. The ACC sucks, and I have it that I will not pick for the remainder of the year any ACC team not named Clemson to win a game. All right, just not picking them again. That conference is bad, and this game proved it.
Other teams play each other, so in the ACC. So
I'm picking them both to lose every week.
All right.
Every week. So I got that one wrong. Lonzo got it right. Texas and Arkansas. My word. Hey, do you think Texas called the Big 12 Sunday morning and we're like, guys?
Yeah, you didn't take that seriously, man. Did you? We were just messing with you. We ain't going anywhere.
We punked you, Big 12. You thought we were leaving. Punked you.
This is home. This is where we go.
Yeah, Big 12 forever. Texas went to Arkansas as a 3.5-point favorite. 3.5-point favorite was Texas. They get beat like a drum. 40-21 Hogs. And yes, Lonzo, I got to tell you, man, this one was intriguing. I thought Baby Sark, Steve Baby Sarkisian was going to be I don't want to say the savior for Texas. I didn't think he was going to go to Arkansas and get trounced like this, man. Texas is back. No. Hey, Texas, welcome to the SEC, fellas. Welcome to the dance. You wanted it. You got it. 0 for 2 go the show on that one. But we both got Michigan. Man, Michigan, a 1.5-point favorite. They win by 3 touchdowns. 31-10. I had to tell you, it's not a great Husky team. But Lonzo, I kind of feel like Harborough had a narrative he wanted to try to rewrite this weekend. I'm not saying Michigan's back either, but they looked much better in week number 2. Much better.
Could this be that year for Michigan? Could this be that year?
The turnaround
I think we know
year.
what we're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. Turnaround year. 2-0. Go the boys in this one. Rob and Lonzo as Michigan with a big win. To the NFL we go. Jacksonville taking on Houston. The Jags, 2.5-point favorites. And I told you. I tried to tell you. Y'all didn't want to listen to me. I didn't get a lot right the last couple of weeks, Lonzo, so I got to brag on myself when I do. Houston, starting Tyrod Taylor. I told y'all Houston was not just gonna be. They were gonna win this game. Everybody wrote down Houston as they can't do it. You got to think. At the end of the day, the team might not be that good, but this is a locker room full of grown ass men and professionals who have been told, "Oh, Deshaun's out. You don't have a choice. So much drama. You don't have a chance. Your head coach is a wash. You don't have a chance." They played for pride. I'm not going to say that pride will carry you to a Super Bowl. It will not. And also, Urban Meyer is bad, and Trevor Lawrence is not ready. That's not a bad thing. Most rookies aren't at this stage. Houston wins. Rob's right.
So a couple of things here. You were right about Houston, which is a surprise. And if you're Jacksonville, that's one you had to get because you're not going to have too many other opportunities to get a win this year. And Rob is doing what a lot of people are doing, blaming Urban Meyer after his first loss. Get rid of Urban Meyer.
I didn't say get rid of Herb. I said in about 7 weeks you're going to want to. I didn't say do it.
But I think the biggest question, and this should be exciting for Jacksonville fans, is who do you want? What do you need next year as the number 1 pick? Because you're going to get the number 1 pick. You already got your quarterback. What is the next position of need for Jacksonville? Because you might as well go ahead and write it up. You're getting it. Who do you need? What do you want?
By the way, Texas said, could this be the year that Harborough, Rob's pronunciation, finally beats Ohio State? It's Harborough because there are 2 of them, right? They're Harboroughs. There's Jim and there's John. It's Harborough, not Harborough, Harborough.
It's not Harborough.
Right.
It's not that.
RK Harborough.
I rather enjoy your mispronunciation of his name.
Texas says, if you keep talking about how bad the ACC is, you're going to make that other sports station cry. The ACC is bad. What do you want? What do you want?
Yeah, and I don't recognize the second part of that question.
So Jacksonville, Houston, Lonzo gets that one wrong. Rob gets that one right. Philly at Atlanta. Atlanta, 4.5-point favorite. Smile because it's pretty, Lonzo.
No, I'm smiling because it's coming. It's coming. It's time for an Atlanta sports tirade, right?
I want you to know. I'm going to leave this up to you, Lonzo. I'm going to put my results into your hands here. Before the end of that show, because we picked on air, and I started by picking Atlanta, then I flipped to Philly, then I went back and picked Atlanta. On Friday, before we got out of here, I switched my pick back to Philly because I just couldn't go against myself. Only because, Lonzo, I heard that promo run. You know the promo I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
The promo where I say, why do I always pick Atlanta? Why? Why do I keep picking Atlanta? Lonzo, I switched my pick back off the air, but before Friday was over. I will let you decide if I am allowed to take the pick of Philly that I switched to, or if you were going to make me ride with the ATL pick I made on the air. I accept it either way.
Was I made aware of the switch?
No, because it was later in the day.
Well, then it doesn't count.
All right, good enough for me. Let's
because
go ahead.
This is you and I doing this, right? It's us me against you type of thing.
I accept your decision. I'm not going to fight it. Philly smokes Atlanta, 32-6. Atlanta did not score a single touchdown in this game. Not a single touchdown. I got to tell you, I rolled into this year thinking Atlanta might surprise and become the second best team and maybe fight for a wild card. And now that promo I have will just stay gold. It's evergreen. It's evergreen for the Falcons.
Have you seen Matt Ryan's gray hair? Seen that?
I suspect there's more of it today than there was yesterday.
Probably.
Cleveland at Kansas City. The Chiefs, a 6.5 point favorite in this one. I selected Believeland. I believed in Baker, and I got to tell you, man, luck, because I thought Baker was leading a game-winning drive at the end of that. But as he tries to throw the ball away, he gets nipped in the ankle, does not have a base to throw off of, throws the pick. Travis Kelce goes beast mode, but we were not picking straight up. We were picking against the spread. Kansas City favored by 6.5. Rob took Believeland, and that is a win for me and a loss for the red, yellow, and white clad Lonzo.
That's all right. It's okay. The team actually won, so I'm okay with it. But that is a game we expected.
Yes, it was.
That's exactly the game we expected. And
two breaks of the ball, that score's reversed.
Yeah, and the fact that Kansas City was down by 12 or what, that didn't bother me. It should, but they scored like a couple touchdowns in like 3 minutes. So that doesn't bother me. It's more about how, at the end of the game and the kind of game that Baker Mayfield was playing, especially that first half. They were killing it. And don't be upset about Cleveland, man. Cleveland's going to be good.
Cleveland's going to be just fine.
Yeah.
That game's against your defending AFC champions.
And of course, you got to go.
That went on Baker.
Kansas City guy reached out and grabbed his foot.
Yeah. Yeah. If that
and he was the interception.
If that lineman doesn't get his hand on Baker's foot, that ball's going 30 yards out of bounds, and Cleveland's got time.
I told my wife, and she can attest to this, when they show Baker Mayfield, they're just laying there beating the ground. Yeah. That dude wants to win. That's what you want to see after a loss. That's not a baby fit. That's a guy who knows how close he was, and and that's how it's sports, man.
If that ball sails into the crowd, he's got another chance, and he knew it. Either way, Rob gets the win on that one. Miami at New England. Oh, this is another game we call a bad beat. Miami's at New England. New England 2.5 point favorites in this one. And the Dolphins end up covering that. The 2.5 as they win by 1. I actually made a mistake here. I got us backwards on the record here, Lonzo. So I got to give us both the credit because we both selected Miami in the cover here. And Lonzo, I have good news for you. With that fix to your record, because I wasn't paying attention, you are now plus 500 in the picks. Congratulations.
So I'm back to even again.
You're
Look
above
at me.
Even. You're above even. Green Bay at New Orleans at Jacksonville. Green Bay, 3.5 point favorites. I went 1 for 1 in my free money alert of the weekend. I thought that Green Bay was going to punt New Orleans. Instead, Jameis Winston throws 5 touchdown passes in this game. Aaron Rodgers throws 2 interceptions. If I'd have told you on Sunday morning, Lonzo, that in this game, one quarterback would throw 5 touchdowns and one would throw 2 picks, you'd have told me I was right.
Yeah, I would have told you it was Aaron Rodgers, and
Yep.
and what a great game he had just had.
Yep, that's a fact. I got to tell you, Zoe, Aaron Rodgers looked like he didn't want to be there. I'm knee-jerk reactioning here. I'm knee-jerking here. But Aaron Rodgers looked like he didn't want to be there.
I don't know, the post-game press conferences, he still didn't look like he wanted to be there.
Oh, no, he absolutely doesn't. Now, I tried to tell y'all last week, the Saints offense is a big fat question mark. The Saints defense is going to be good. It's going to be good. DeMario and Quan are good. Marcus Davenport and Cam Jordan might be one of the best 1-2 defensive end punches in the league. Marshawn Lattimore's a real deal. Bradley Roby, they picked up from the Texans. He was ineligible this week, but he'll be back next week. He's a good young cover corner. Marcus Williams can ball hawk when he's freed up and doesn't have to play man. New Orleans defense is going to be good this year, like real good. All that being said, Aaron Rodgers didn't look like he wanted to be there. Fourth quarter, after his second pick, Jordan Love, the heir apparent, comes out. I had to tell you, Lonzo, I think that might have been the beginning of the end of Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay. I don't think he wanted to be there anyway. I think the drama in the offseason got in his head so much. I think that he went so far backwards, and I think Green Bay had so little time to get their prep right in the offseason that by the time the season rolled around, Aaron Rodgers was and is just not ready to play football. I think he didn't want to be there. I think he gave up. And I think that's why they went with Jordan Love. I got to tell you, 3 weeks ago, the rumor out in the NFL was that Aaron Rodgers was done with the pack this year, and he was going to end up looking for a contract with Sean Payton in the New Orleans Saints next year. After what you saw yesterday, Lonzo, if you're the Saints, do you talk to Aaron Rodgers?
It's still Aaron Rodgers. And, you have to think about that. It's still Aaron Rodgers. And we're taking it by one game. Now, if he comes out and he does it again the next game, that's totally different. Does he tarnish his legacy by doing this? I don't know that he does, because he's still going to go down as one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. And there's only a couple teams out there right now who wouldn't say yes if Green Bay say, hey, we want to trade you Aaron Rodgers. There's only a couple. Yeah, even if would say no, and those are teams like Kansas City who have Patrick Mahomes, or possibly Seattle. There's only a couple of teams. I don't think they'd trade Brady for him, but other than that, just about any other team out there would say yes.
So I agree. If you are the Saints, who were selected as the probable destination, rumored to be
one game,
I agree.
Yeah, Jameis had a killer game,
but it is one game. And it's one game. And if you want to say you can't judge Jameis on that one game, I understand that. But, Lonzo, the one game we're talking about is a game where a guy quit on his team. It's one thing to be bad, to have a bad game. Every quarterback's going to have a bad game. It's one thing to have a bad game. It's another thing to quit on your team. That's my question.
But he never said he quit on his team.
You don't have to say some things, man. It's like when in the movie, the camera goes into the bedroom and the man and the wife are both fully dressed on far opposite sides of the bed, and they're reading books with their big spectacles on, and then the wife rolls over and turns the lamp off and rolls away from the husband and pulls the comforter up over her head and disappears. You don't have to say what the message is there. We all know. We all see it. That's the point. Aaron Rodgers pulled the comforter up over his head and turned off the lamp in the fourth quarter of that game last night. And that's a metaphor I just realized how much I love and will use from now on. And finally, and the game we're going to talk about in the next segment, the New York Jets on the road at the Carolina Panthers. Carolina Panthers 3.5-point favorites. They win by 5, 19-14 in Sam Darnold's debut for the silver and blue. So a dub for both Lonzo and Rob. That ends this week, Lonzo. Through 2 weeks of college, 1 week of the NFL. Rob, 10-13 in a push. 10-13 in a push. 6-6 this week. So I went 500 on the week. Lonzo goes 12-11-1. 12-11-1 so far on the season.
So I would
500.
I would have made money. Is what you're saying.
You would have made if you'd have bet evenly across the board, and on top of that, some of those are odds, right? Because picking New Orleans as the dog or picking Green Bay as that heavy of a favorite would have likely cost you more than you would have gotten back in return. But theoretically, yes, you'd be winning money on the season so far. I'm just hooking Lonzo a little week by week. Telling you, I'm gonna get Lonzo to use my bookie and make an actual bet by the end of the year. It's going to happen. Texas says the only rookie record Trevor's going to break is interceptions thrown in a season. Peyton Manning would love that. Also, look at who I just mentioned as the guy who set that record.
Also, judging by one game.
Yeah, too early.
Yeah.
Too early. That being said, I do think that Herb thought that Trev was just going to carry him. Quick break. We'll talk Carolina ball and Trevor Lawrence when we come back on the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate.
Where's mine?
Prisma Health, right here in the Upstate, but like everywhere around the Upstate. Look, For those of you that did not know and couldn't tell because of the whole talking thing, sometimes medical issues pop up and hit you out of nowhere. Hey, you wake up one day and you're like, wow, my face doesn't work. What do? You call Prisma. You call Prisma Health in the Upstate. You call Prisma. You talk to Prisma. You tell Prisma what's going on with you, and they say, here's what you do. Go to prismahealth.org. You're going to get set up there. We're going to get you set up with one of the 2,400 plus doctors in our healthcare system so that you can find the doctor that's right for you and the needs that you have. Then we're going to tell you what facility you can go to so you can find one that is close to and convenient for you, and then you can go. Or if you're in the house or you got work and you got the kids and you just can't make it out, it happens to the best of us, right? Well, you can go to prismahealth.org and sign up for a virtual appointment. You can meet your doctor face-to-face without leaving your house or your office. They make it simple. They make it easy for you. Go to prismahealth.org to learn more. Prismahealth.org, the official healthcare provider for the Gamecocks and the Tigers. It's our friends at Prisma Health.
The Score app today, lightning fast sports alerts so you never miss a thing. It's why the Score app is one of North America's most popular sports apps. For ESPN Upstate Sports Center update, I'm Matt Pauley. Football fans, I'm Joel Bryson. Here is sports discussion, interview, and more on the Saturday morning scramble powered by Downers Federal Credit Union. Every Saturday from 8 to 10 a.m. It's the first 20 minutes.
Did you see the article that Urban Meyer was unhinged in Jacksonville? What? No, but I want to.
Is he really? Oh, cool. He's gone. This unhinged. I mean, it's so vague.
Let's go to the Fox Sports article. Meyer has had repeated issues with his assistant coaches and has, quote, rubbed the coaching staff and the players the wrong way, end quote, according to CBS Sports. However, hours after the report was published, rookie quarterback Trevor Lawrence and the Jags were defeated by the Texans 37-21. CBS Sports' Jason Lockenferris says, quote, Meyer has everyone looking over their shoulders already. He becomes unhinged way too easily, and he doesn't know how to handle losing even in the preseason. He loses it and wants to take over the drills himself. It's not good, end quote.
So,
another source told Lockenferris.
So the coach wants to be hands-on when he sees a problem?
No, not hands-on.
How's that unhinged?
Hands-on would be fine. Overbearing is where you lose it. And it's not being hands-on. It's, according to one source through Jason Lockenferris, quote, belittling his coaching staff, end quote.
What some people would call belittling, others would call constructive criticism. So it's all a matter of opinion. I don't know. I'm not there. He may actually be belittling them. I know what that's like. I know what that feels like.
It sucks.
But there's nothing like taking over a job and being told by all the so-called experts that you don't belong there and that you're going to fail. You can handle it a couple of ways. You can prove them wrong or eventually start listening to it and let it get to you.
I mean, you can prove them wrong or you can start letting it to you. It cannot get to you and they're still right. What was the Jean-Luc Picard quote from Star Trek years ago? There are situations in life where you can do everything right and still lose. It's not unfair. It's life. I don't think Urban's a good coach, and I don't think he has the attitude. I think he is such a – here's the thing. Same reason Saban didn't work out, and that's not an insult. Same reason Saban didn't work out. Saban didn't work out because he is such a control freak that he has to have control over every single tiny little minute detail of his program, and it doesn't work that way in the NFL. If you can't work along with other people, you fail in the NFL.
We'll see. I'm not rooting for that team either way, but you know. I do when I see a lot of people go after someone and say that something is a certain way, I want to see that person to succeed, to put it in everybody else's faces, because it's just me, I guess. I'm sure I'm not alone in those thoughts. If I am, my island is pretty and it has wonderful trees with tasty
Conor
coconuts.
McGregor got into a fight at the VMAs.
I know.
The Rob Brown Show rolls on. This is ESPN Upstate. Rob, Lonzo, you, 844 GSP ESPN. We were having a conversation off the air that what the hey, I'll bring it on for a minute because it impacts one TL16. And that is the conversation about head coach of your Jacksonville Jaguars, Urban Meyer. Keegan texted in during the break and said, have you seen the article about Urban Meyer being unhinged in Jacksonville? And I thought, no. And that seems like a thing I would have seen, so I'll go take a gander at it. Jason Lockenfora of CBS Sports, who is a relatively trusted guy, said that down in Jacksonville, quote, Urban Meyer has everyone looking over their shoulders already. He becomes unhinged way too easily, and he doesn't know how to handle losing even in the preseason. He loses it and wants to take over the drills himself. It's not good. Another source told Lockenfora that Meyer has, quote, lashed out, end quote, at members of his coaching staff and, quote, called some of their job security into question after preseason losses. Lockenfora says one source told him, quote, you can't freak out about preseason games and belittle your coaches on a staff you handpicked every time things don't go your way. It's not going to work here. Here's the problem with guys like Herb. And so that Lonzo doesn't think I'm being unfair to Urban because I don't like him. All right, let's be clear here.
Yeah, but you don't like him.
No, I don't like him.
Okay, all right.
But I'm not saying what I'm saying about him because I don't like him. This is the opposite of the conversation we were having about DJ Uyunglele earlier. I can criticize DJ on the football field and still like him as a guy. And I do. I've met him a couple times. Super nice guy. Tim Tebow, same situation. I can criticize Tim Tebow, the football player, while also really liking Tim Tebow, the human. And I do. I've had dinner with the guy. Nice guy. I like him a lot. This is the exact opposite of that. I can criticize Herb and also not like him. And the criticism still be fair.
Every time you say, I had dinner with the guy.
I just like to name drop.
It's a Stephen,
it's a humble brag.
Stephen A. Smith thing every single time.
I know Tim Tebow personally. I could call him right now. Any hoodles. Anyway. All right. So here's the thing about Herb. Herb has the same issue that prevented Nick Saban from being a successful NFL coach. A lot of folks will say, oh, you know, if Saban would have got Drew Brees, Saban would have still been in the NFL. Maybe, but I don't think so, and here's why. Saban and Herb were good at college football coaches for one reason. They are incredibly detail-oriented human beings who want micro control over their program. I've been around Alabama. I've been around Alabama beat writers. I've been around those who have covered Nick Saban like in lockstep. And they will tell you that Nick Saban has such control over his program. He literally writes down to the minute and the second when media members are allowed into and out of the different football rooms in his program, every one of them, even the ones he's not in. Incredible attention to detail. That's why he's so good at recruiting too, right? Because he's got that incredible attention to detail. Herb's the same way. You don't get that in the NFL. There are multiple decision makers in the NFL that you have to work in lockstep with. Saban couldn't do it in Miami, right? When the doctors went to, and by the way, I don't fault the doctors in Miami for not taking Drew Brees. That injury is one that most players who get it and have that surgery, they don't get to come back from that. They don't get to come back from that. It wasn't the wrong call. And when Saban realized that he wasn't the one who got to ultimately make the call, his relationship with the Dolphins was done. It just had to fizzle, and it did. Herb's that guy. And Herb, if these sources are correct, and like I said, La Canfora is a pretty reliable dude. You want to know what my fear is? Herb is going to train wreck 2 to 3 years of Trevor Lawrence's career. He's going to train wreck 2 to 3 years of Trev's career. Trev is going to flounder around in a program that, by the way, for the record, they could go 0-16 the next 2 years, and Shad Khan's not going to fire Urban Meyer because he doesn't want to be labeled a failure again with another head coach, and he will. And he will. He doesn't want to go through the heat that JJ and Steven Jones are going through in Dallas. He don't want to deal with that. So he won't let he won't let Herb go. He won't let Herb go because it will label him a failure. And he don't want to do that. So instead, Herb is going to get probably 3 years in Jacksonville where you get results like you got against Houston. Yes, it's just one game. Lonzo's putting the it's just one game bullet in the gun right now. And he should be. It's one game. But man, the fact that there's enough smoke to have this discussion coming from multiple outlets already about preseason games, and then they got waxed by a team that's going to be in contention for the worst team in the league in year one, and Trev's throwing 3 picks in his debut. Not a great start. That's all I'm saying.
This from a guy, I mean, you have praised Tyrod Taylor. Maybe Houston's going to be better than what people think. Again, one game.
It's one game.
What if they come out and win next game? I don't know who they play next, but what if they come out and win the next game? How many games would Houston have to win for us to believe they're for real and maybe it wasn't so bad that Jacksonville lost to them?
They got the Broncos next week. They going to get slapped. They got the Cardinals the week after that. They going to get slapped. They got the Bengals the week after that. They going to get slapped. They got the Titans after that. You want to go ahead and pick that game now, or you want to wait?
Yeah, we'll wait because we don't know about. I mean, the Titans just got slapped by Arizona.
They got the Dolphins after that. I'll take the Dolphins. They got the Seahawks after that on the road. L. They got the Bills after that. And maybe the Bills aren't as good as we thought they were. They did get punked by the Steelers yesterday, but I'll take the Bills right now. They got the Colts. Toss up, but Colts, I'm leaning. They got the Niners, that's an L. They got the Falcons, toss-up. They got the Rams, that's an L. They got the Titans again. We'll call it a toss-up for fun. Then they got the Texans again. I mean, Texans smoked them once already. Then they got the Jets. Let's call that one a win just for funsies. They're 1-16 because they got the Patriots and the Colts after that. They might, Lonzo, they might win 4 games. Might go 4-13. Might.
So you were talking about Jacksonville, and I was talking about Houston. But that's fine.
They might both go 4-13. But that's the point, right? Like, Like you said to open the show, that's the one they had to have because there's only one more of those coming out. 2 more. Them and the Jets. The only other 2 games left in the schedule is a repeat against Houston and the Jets. Only 2 games on the schedule that you look at and go, Jacksonville should win those
But
games.
before all this started, I said, and other people are not saying this, Urban Meyer's going to get the entire blame for Trevor Lawrence not playing well, for Trevor Lawrence not doing that good. And some of it, maybe a decent percentage of it, has to do with Trevor Lawrence and not with the coach, because Trevor Lawrence is showing tendencies that he was already showing going up against good defenses, and he still hasn't went up against a really good defense yet. He's going to face better defenses than Houston.
I got to tell you, I don't think that argument's unfair, Zoe, because I've watched the 3 picks he threw. They're bad.
Yeah,
They are bad
there's no one around.
Yeah. It's not 3 picks like tip drill, like he hit the receiver and the receiver dropped it and tipped it in the air and the defense got. They're just bad throws. 2 of them were sailed by feet. Sailed. I think it's fair that TL16 takes some of the blame there. But again, at the end of the day, the coach has to answer for it. And considering Herb has already got the reputation Herb has as being a quitter and a dude who's a little unstable in the locker room, not a shock that he's getting heat today. Quick break. Let's come back in just a minute. We'll wrap up week 1 NFL discussion, then Twitter trending topics on the way out the door. It's Rob, it's Lonzo, it's you. It's ESPN Upstate. It's ESPN Upstate. That doesn't count. It doesn't count.
Absolutely counts. You turned yourself off. I guess it's a different count, but still haven't talked Panthers, by the way. You haven't talked Panthers. You haven't talked about how awesome Christian McCaffrey actually is, which we already knew.
Yeah, breaking news. Christian McCaffrey good at football?
But just his speed compared to everybody, his quickness is.
Hey, I think Darnold deserves some credit for yesterday.
Oh, he does. He
It wasn't
does.
spectacular, but it was way good enough.
Day-to-day with a knee injury, top-ranked Clemson Tigers play number 11 Florida on Saturday. Texas coming off a bad loss to Arkansas, making a change at quarterback. Casey Thompson will replace Hudson Card as the Longhorns starter.
From the Ingles Market Studio, this is ESPN Upstate. 97.7 FM Greenville, 97.1 FM Spartanburg. ESPN Upstate.
An Odyssey station.
Don't go through the fall months with that joint pain. Call QC Kinetics now. Regenerative solutions are here, bringing lasting relief from joint pain. With no downtime, no surgery, no steroids. QC Kinetics uses natural biologic therapies that restore and repair damaged tissue in your knees, shoulders, hips, and back. Patients here are raving about the results. Listen, you don't have to live with that chronic pain, and don't think surgery is your only option. Call QC Kinetics now. Learn about these exciting natural alternatives. Hey, you've heard football legend Emmitt Smith talk about QC. It's time to see what this is all about. Fall is the time to enjoy life to the fullest. Act now. Restorative, regenerative therapies are available here, and the in-office consultation is free. Call QC Kinetics at 864-448-3772. Non-surgical joint pain relief. 864-448-3772. 864-448-3772. That's 448-3772.
For the ones going above and beyond. For the ones reaching out, helping out, and lending a hand. For the ones people count on. You can count on Grainger. Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry. Backed by 24/7 customer support and specialists to help with hard-to-find products.
I don't know why, but WWE Twitter has just put out every McMahon title win.
Every McMahon title run?
Win, yeah, including Shane, and I'm sure Steph will be on here eventually. And I just saw Stone Cold come out and stun everybody, including China, which I had never seen that before. So.
bacteria and viruses initially, including the virus that causes COVID-19. Microban 24 keeps the bacteria for 24 hours, touch after touch. When used as directed, Microban 24, touch after touch, it doesn't give up.
Wake up to Wendy's and get a bacon or sausage, egg, and Swiss breakfast croissant for just $1.99. Fresh fried eggs and served on a hot buttery croissant that's fluffy enough to sleep.
20 minutes away from heading down the hall and getting in trouble.
I'll go with you.
No, it's not necessary. I'm not going to get in trouble.
Get that satisfying crunch.
Rob, look at me.
Now with 20%
Golden
more
boy.
honey. Delicious Nature Valley Oats and Honey Crunchy Bar with more.
You know, it's never.
I wish I had that kind of confidence for
fact.
real.
It's never the fact that there is a golden boy. It's the fact that the golden boy. It doesn't matter if he does or doesn't know the golden boy. He is the golden boy. It's infuriating either way.
By signing up using code PLAY. Get in on the action now. It's simple. Just pick your lineup, stay under the salary cap, and see how your team stacks up against the.
I know how I know I'm not the golden boy because from what I understand, golden boy gets paid.
Millions of dollars in total prizes. Download the DraftKings app now and use code PLAY this week. First can get a free shot at millions of dollars in total prizes. Enter promo code PLAY to get a free shot at millions in total prizes with your first deposit. That's promo code PLAY. Only at DraftKings, the official daily fantasy partner of the NFL. Minimum $5 deposit required. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details.
We're not here to take part. We're here to take over.
Can we call a young man to the podium that deserves a little credit? Especially considering I was asking questions about him earlier I guess last week. Lonzo! Sam Darnold didn't look half bad for the Carolina Panthers on Sunday. He didn't look great, but he looked good enough. And for them right now, good enough's what I'm looking for.
He looks shaky with potential to be better.
Bingo.
He looked better than what he looked like for the Jets.
Bingo. He looked like what I needed him to look like. Was he perfect? No. Was he consistent? For the most part. Honestly, for the most part, he was. I think he pulled the ball down and ran a couple of times at the exact right time. He had a rushing touchdown, which was he looked out, realized the route tree were all outside routes. Nobody was available. Looked inside, saw the linebackers cleared out, took it himself.
Pretty quick, too.
Pretty quick decision-making. I thought the decision-making was good. I thought the check, he knew when, not just to get the ball to 22, but he knew when to get the ball to 22 to let 22 do what 22 does.
And let's face it, as pointed out by the announce team, what a check down that is.
Hey, if you got a check down and his name is Christian McCaffrey, you check the heck down, son. Absolutely. 24 of 35, 279 and a touch. It's not bad numbers. It's not bad numbers. Here is one thing I am concerned about. This number right here, Lonzo. Christian McCaffrey, 21 carries, 98 yards. It's too many times. It's too many times. I know he's one of the better running backs in the game. I need him. Now, he also had 9 receptions.
I was going to say,
you're
not counting the receptions either, yeah.
If I could bring that carries number down to about 16 and bump that receptions number up to about 11, 12, I'd be happy. But like Rashad Beard has told us a number of times, if Christian McCaffrey's toting the rock 24, 25 times, and he didn't get all the way there, but you could tell he was close.
But that is also is what the defense dictates. And there are going to be some games maybe he gets more carries, and other games he gets more receptions.
You're not wrong.
As long as he's touching the ball, you got a good shot of winning.
9 grabs, 89 yards for McCaffrey. DJ Moore, 6 for 80. Just one catch for Robbie Anderson, but it was for 7. By the way, Terrence Marshall Jr., only real bad throw that I saw, Darnold missed Terrence Marshall Jr. on the front of the end zone by about a foot. He lays that about 6 inches closer, and Marshall lays out for it. That's another touchdown.
Yep.
That was it was he missed that throw by 6 inches. And if Marshall brings that thing in, this score is a blowout because they would have had a lot of momentum.
Yeah, and I hate to do this, but it's been consistent throughout the week or throughout the show. It's just one game though, and they were playing the Jets. But even so, they look good. They really did.
I would like to say that yes, it is one game, Lonzo. But when you're in a spot like the Panthers are in, good enough is sometimes good enough.
I am not willing to say wild card or division winner. No.
I'll go the opposite.
Win the games you're supposed to win.
I'll go the
and
opposite.
That's what they did.
Lonzo, they're not good enough to be a wild card team. They're certainly not winning the division.
Can you put a yet on that? Because so you don't think there's a possibility for them to improve enough to get a wild card?
No, the Carolina Panthers are not a wild card team. They're not going to the playoffs this year, and that's okay. You weren't expected to. I said yesterday on the Carolina Kickoff Show on Classic Rock 101.1. In 2 years, there's got maximum, maybe one, maybe at the end of this year, 1 or 2 years, there's a power vacuum coming to the NFC South. When Tom Brady leaves, the Buccaneers are going to blow up because all those guys that are there for Brady, they're all going to leave to go make money somewhere else. And when they do, there's going to be a power vacuum that the Saints, the Falcons, and the Panthers are all going to scramble to try to fill because Tampa's going to have to go backwards. So they're going to have 3 teams vying for it. The Panthers, I think, are in the best shape to fill it because the Falcons are old and bad. The Saints are good. They're a wild card threat behind Tampa, but they're old, right? They got 1 or 2. They are built to compete now. In 1 or 2 years, they're going to have to reset with some younger guys. The Panthers are young and building now. The power vacuum will open right when they hit their stride. They are good enough for right now, and that matters. Let's take a break. Twitter trending topics to wrap it up when we come back on the Rob Brown Show. Rob Lonzo and you. This is ESPN Upstate.
Cheat scan ESPN Upstate. Currently, it's 88.
ESPN Upstate, your exclusive home for Major League Baseball. Play-by-play of the biggest games from Major League Baseball's best. Including the playoffs and the World Series.
My ball needs a right, and you can't kiss it goodbye.
This is
Save like a pro with Founders Federal Credit Union. Founders Loyalty Select account gives you the opportunity to grow your savings at our best rate yet. Fund your account through your favorite Loyalty Select product to get saving today. Not a member yet? Visit relaxjoinfounders.com or one of our more than 30 office locations to see if you qualify for membership. Services require credit evaluation. Terms and conditions apply. Founders Federal Credit Union is federally insured by NCUA.
Don't know a strike from a split? Sounds like you're perfect for Snowman's Bad Bowlers Club. Hey, it's Rob Brown from ESPN Upstate. For 8 weeks, starting Thursday, September 16th, we'll be hitting the lanes for the gutters at Spare Time Entertainment on Congaree Road. Bring your team or just bring yourself, and don't worry if you're not that good. It's Snowman's Bad Bowlers Club for a reason. Get over to ClassicRock1011.com/bowl right now to sign up. Snowman's Bad Bowlers Club, only at Spare Time Entertainment, sponsored by
Going to throw this bottle over your head.
Close. If you'd have landed about 2 inches shorter, you'd have got a good bounce.
And it's a good way to stay on top of my health.
Yes, I'm Cologuard, a prescription colon cancer screening option for people 45 plus at average risk. Have you screened for colon cancer?
Not yet.
Don't wait. It's more treatable when caught in early stages.
Tell me more.
Cologuard is non-invasive and it's used now. It detects altered DNA in your stool to find 92% of colon cancers.
92%?
Yep, even those in early stages.
This was seen in a clinical study with patients 50 and older. Any positive results should be followed by a diagnostic colonoscopy. False positive and negative results may occur. Cologuard is not a replacement for colonoscopy in high-risk patients. Do not use if you have had adenomas, have inflammatory bowel disease and certain hereditary syndromes, or a personal or family history of colon cancer.
Most insured patients pay $0. Ask your provider or an online prescriber if Cologuard is right for you, or visit Cologuard.com.
I'm in.
Are you finally ready to sell that motorcycle or ATV that is just collecting dust in your garage? Harley, Honda, Polaris, Yamaha, or anything like it. RumbleOn.com will pay you cash today and admits you have a real cash offer. We will pay you cash before we pick it up. No more strangers coming to your house from a listing site. Use promo code RADIO for an extra $300 on your cash offer. Get your cash offer today. RumbleOn.com. Fast bikes, faster cash.
Heard you're buying a car. I brought my calculator.
Dad, I already used Capital One Auto Navigator. I found my car online and got pre-qualified instantly. Instead of all that.
You know those things impact your credit score.
Didn't impact my credit score, Dad. Now I'm going to the dealership for a test drive.
I had to tell you, man, SoFi Stadium looks freaking cool.
It does. It does look really cool. On the inside and the outside.
Yeah. That screen, that ring video is legit.
Like how
who introduced the game last night? They have Michael Buffer come out and do.
Oh yeah. That was kind of well, we gotta be careful, but I kind of not inspired the way he normally is, and it could be age related.
Yeah. Joe just said, "I'm glad the Cons wrote a better wrestling promotion than football team."
All right, time for Twitter trending topics. Here's what we got trending today.
I did not get to watch SmackDown last week, so I do not know if something awesome happened.
Oh, it just started trending.
It started trending.
Yes.
Cash in's coming soon, right?
Tonight.
You think so?
No, he said.
Oh, he called the shot.
He said he's cashing into. This started trending about 6-7 minutes ago.
Tonight?
Yes.
I want him to do something with Heyman, though.
Lashley and
Lashley Big E could be a lot of fun.
Well, Lashley and Randy Orton are wrestling for the title tonight.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. See, Zoe, look at that. You've given me a reason to watch Monday Night Raw. You're now better than the whole writing staff.
And I thought that was pretty. I saw he was trending. I was like, oh no. I'm cashing in tonight.
Let's go.
All right. The next thing that's trending is Machine Gun Kelly.
Or it's a swerve, or he's not going to do it.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Machine Gun Kelly is trending because he and Lonzo's hero.
It's not my hero.
The man Lonzo aspires to be.
No.
Conor McGregor. Apparently, the two of them got into it at the VMAs, and it almost came to blows because, yes, Conor, once again, you know who you should fight? Fighters instead of old men in bars and tiny little skinny rappers.
By the way, worth it for Conor's quote. I don't fight little Vanilla Ice white rappers.
I respect that, but you did do that.
All right.
You can't say that after you fought the guy, you idiot.
All right.
He's dumb.
The next thing that's trending is Hawkeye.
Hawkeye trending because Lonzo and I, not because Lonzo and I watched the trailer, but because the trailer came out, which Lonzo and I watched before the show. And I got to tell you, I was already on board because I think Hawkeye was the most underappreciated and underutilized Marvel comic book superhero in the first phase of the MCU. Lonzo, they're making it a Christmas special.
It's being
trailer that Lonzo and I have watched off the radio in a number of weeks that I was like, oh yeah, this is gonna be great. This is gonna be great.
I can't
wait for Christmas.
I can't wait to see the musical.
Oh, can't wait.
What was it? The Rodgers.
The Rodgers the musical.
Yeah, and people.
And it looks like it's in the damn movie.
Yeah. People are wondering what the songs are on Rodgers the musical, so I cannot wait.
Offsides with Mark Ryan and Diesel is up next for Lonzo. My name is Rob Brown. Thanks for hanging out. We're back tomorrow to try harder on the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate. Later, brother. Hey, buddy.
This is